This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. More support for more web shop licenses. Craig Flowers apparently not part of that group requesting a 25-year moratorium increase. National Security Minister Wayne Monroe tells Bahamians to stay off of fast boats leaving Venezuela if they want to be alive. And concerns about the news and bias ahead of the election. We'll tell you why. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Monday, October 20th, 2025. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. In a moment, Deandra Cartwright will be joining us. Also this morning, we are going to be talking with HACES Empowerment and Resource Center for Women about their upcoming Unstoppable Weekend. It's just a few days away now. Again, your final chance to register. We'll give you all the details about that and what the goals are. And later, we are talking about breast cancer in the Bahamas as we're in the middle of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. What everyone needs to know, men and women, about this. That's all ahead. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, investigations continue into the country's latest murder. It happened in the Coconut Grove area yesterday. A man in his late 20s was gunned down in front of a business on Robinson Road. According to police, the victim was driving a Nissan Cube when he came under heavy gunfire from armed individuals who pursued him until he crashed into another vehicle parked outside a nearby food store. Police launching a full investigation. Anyone with information is asked to come forward. Veteran Bahamian businessman Craig Flowers, owner of FML web shop chain Everybody Wins, saying that he is not part of any group that has requested an additional 25-year moratorium on gaming licenses. and that he would welcome the industry being opened up to new operators. Flowers telling the Nassau Guardian that he has no objections to anyone entering the field once they qualify, saying, quote, "I don't think there should be any business that should be exclusive for any one Bahamian or two Bahamians or three Bahamians. I do think that once you qualify, the government will be the deciding factor to determine that." The Nassau Guardian reported last week that gaming operators who were given a 10-year moratorium on gaming licenses under the Christie administration are seeking an additional 25 years. The moratorium means that only a few operators are permitted to operate web shops in the country. Asked if he was among that group, Flowers said that he's not asking for anything. Quote, "I think every year our license is dealt with. We have to apply and pay for our license, large amounts of funds every year. If you don't pay it, you will lose your license. The conversation was never had with me about it." Flowers says the government needs to take a holistic look at the industry, though, and make decisions based on facts, including what the industry is now generating. Minister of National Security Wayne Monroe is advising Bahamians to, quote, "stay out of go-fast boats leaving Venezuela." Monroe responding to concerns over U.S. strikes in Caribbean waters against what it says are drug traffickers leaving Venezuela. Monroe saying, quote, "I would advise Bahamians to stay out of go-fast boats leaving Venezuela. We're not going to be doing what the Americans are doing, but you would be well to stay out of their way." A recent U.S. strike killed 2 Trinidadian men and 4 others, prompting renewed outrage and concern in some quarters over the ramifications of the foreign military operations in Caribbean waters. Monroe says that the reality is that it would be impossible to push back against the United States, saying, quote, if they are determined to, for instance, deploy in international waters between the Bahamas and the U.S., what can we do to restrict them in finding what they say is in their national interest? Well, as concerns mount over the buildup of United States military assets in the Southern Caribbean, CARICOM leaders over the weekend reaffirmed a commitment to keeping the region as a zone of peace, noting potential impacts on member states. CARICOM saying in a statement issued Saturday that all government heads except Trinidad, which reserved the position, agreed on key tenets. They affirmed the principle of maintaining the Caribbean region as a zone of peace and the importance of dialogue and engagement towards a peaceful resolution of disputes and conflict. CARICOM says it remains willing to assist towards that objective. It noted that the leaders reiterated a commitment to fighting narco-trafficking and the illegal weapons trade, which both adversely impact the region. With the political season ramping up, Minister of Housing and Urban Renewal Keith Bell says the 2026 general election will be, quote, nasty, as he threw shots at the F&M's last stint in office. Bell saying during a recent PLP men's branch meeting, quote, this is going to be a nasty election. I'm going in the garbage can. I'm going to get some stuff out Bradley Roberts' garbage can. I'm forward-thinking, but at the same time, we need to remind some people of some things. Bell openly criticized the F&M's response to Hurricane Dorian and the COVID pandemic, saying, quote, there could be no doubt that COVID-19 and Hurricane Dorian visited our country and were very devastating to our country. But Dorian didn't visit the country until 2019, and COVID didn't hit until 2020. It meant that the former administration was in office for 2 full years before anything happened, and they didn't do nothing. You can read more on his comments in today's Nassau Guardian. Overseas, Gaza's fragile ceasefire faced its first major test Sunday as Israeli forces launched a wave of deadly strikes, saying Hamas militants had killed 2 soldiers, and an Israeli security official said the transfer of aid into the territory was halted. The military later said it was resuming enforcing the ceasefire, and the official confirmed that aid deliveries would resume today. A little over a week has passed since the start of the U.S. proposed ceasefire aimed at ending 2 years of war. U.S. President Donald Trump said the ceasefire remained in place and, quote, we want to make sure it's going to be very peaceful. He told reporters aboard Air Force One on Sunday that Hamas had been, quote, quite rambunctious and, quote, they've been doing some shooting. He suggested that the violence might be the fault of the rebels within the organization rather than its leadership. Health officials say at least 36 Palestinians were killed across Gaza, including children. Israeli military said it struck dozens of Hamas targets after its troops came under fire. A senior Egyptian official involved in the ceasefire negotiations said round-the-clock contacts were underway to de-escalate the situation. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu directed the military to take strong action against any ceasefire violations, but didn't threaten to return to war. Chinese leader Xi Jinping delivering a speech today on the opening day of a major meeting of the ruling Communist Party to approve a draft plan laying out its goals for the next 5 years for the country. A short dispatch from the official Xinhua news agency saying that Xi expounded on the party leadership's draft proposals for the next 5-year plan for national economic and social development, which will cover 2026 through 2030. It did not provide any details. The latest plan comes at a time of growing challenges and uncertainty for China, including a persistently sluggish economy, foreign restrictions on its access to the latest technologies, and high tariffs imposed on its exports to the United States. An editorial in the newspaper citing that the plan should focus on high-quality development and technological innovation while also ensuring national security is protected and the benefits of economic growth are spreading fairly and more widely. And the U.S. Embassy in Trinidad and Tobago cautioning Americans Saturday to stay away from American government facilities on the Twin Island nation, in what was an unusual warning that came as tensions grow between the United States and Venezuela over deadly U.S. strikes in Caribbean waters targeting suspected drug traffickers. The embassy didn't specify why it issued the warning, saying only that, quote, due to a heightened state of alert, please avoid and refrain from visiting all U.S. government facilities through the holiday weekend, as it urged people to be aware of their surroundings. Today is a holiday to celebrate Diwali, a Hindu festival of lights widely celebrated in Trinidad and Tobago, where 35% of its 1.4 million people identify as East Indian. Venezuela is only just a few miles away from Trinidad, where people in one coastal community are mourning the disappearance of 2 local fishermen believed killed in a U.S. strike on Tuesday. The alert is based on threats directed at American citizens in the Caribbean nation, with U.S. authorities saying, quote, it could be linked to ongoing tensions in the region. With 6 strikes killing at least 29 people since early September, the tense situation in the region was mentioned by U.S. officials in a briefing with authorities in Trinidad and Tobago. Following the most recent attack, the U.S. government took survivors into custody after the military struck a suspected drug-carrying vessel in the Caribbean. The Trump administration has said it considers alleged drug traffickers as unlawful combatants who must be met with military force. In sports, Philadelphia 76ers heading to the NBA regular season on a strong note, demolishing the Minnesota Timberwolves in their final preseason game in Philadelphia Friday night. It was an amazing performance for Bahamian rookie sensation Valdez Vijay Edgecombe. Edgecombe played a game-high 34 points and finished with 10 for 18 from the field and 2 for 6 from three-point range, scoring 26 points, grabbing 6 rebounds, collecting 5 steals and 3 assists, helping the Sixers to an impressive 126-110 win. It was their first win in the preseason. More on that in today's Guardian Sports section. From Major League Baseball, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hitting his 6th home run this postseason, as rookie Trey Savage striking out 7 in 5 2/3 innings, with the Toronto Blue Jays forcing a Game 7 in the American League Championship Series, beating the Seattle Mariners 6-2 last night. From the NFL, Patrick Mahomes leading the Chiefs to a 31-0 rout of the Las Vegas Raiders. And the Denver Broncos stunning the New York Giants 33-32 with a last-second field goal in an historic comeback. Jalen Hurts jump-starting the Eagles in Philadelphia by passing for 326 yards and 3 touchdowns in a 28-22 win against the Minnesota Vikings. Back to the NBA, Kevin Durant wants to be in Houston for more than 1 year, and he left more than $30 million on the bargaining table to make that possible. Durant has signed a contract extension that would keep the 4-time scoring champion and 4-time Olympic gold medalist with the Rockets through the 2027-28 season. It is a 2-year extension, the second year at Durant's option, according to a person speaking to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity. ESPN first reported the agreement, citing Durant's business partner, Rich Kleiman, saying the deal could be worth $90 million. If Durant plays both seasons as planned, that $90 million would push his on-court earnings to nearly $600 million, which could be an NBA record depending on how long LeBron James continues to play. Durant, a 15-time All-Star, one of only 7 players in NBA history with that many selections, was eligible for an extension that could have been worth $122 million. He opted for less, a move that will provide the Rockets plenty of flexibility for other deals going forward. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. And we've got a weak frontal boundary, let's put it like that. We'll continue to support showers and thunderstorms across the southeast Bahamas and portions of the central Bahamas, becoming more severe across the southeast Bahamas overnight. Prefrontal activity associated with that front to the north of the island chain will enhance potential for showers and isolated thunderstorms across portions of the northern and northwest Bahamas, gradually becoming more stable by tonight. We'll tell you more about that system in our extended outlook in a bit. But for today, thunderstorms across the southeast Bahamas have potential to become severe at times. Everyone's being advised to stay alert by listening to the warnings issued by the Department of Meteorology. And motorists and pedestrians are advised to exercise caution while along coastal roads, especially Atlantic exposures due to moderate to large sea swells. There remains a moderate risk of rip currents along Atlantic exposed shorelines for all areas. Beachgoers, swimmers, and pleasure craft operators are urged to exercise caution in these areas. So we've got a mixed bag today across the islands. For the northern Bahamas, including Grand Bahama, look for a mix of sun and clouds, becoming mostly fair tonight, a 20 to 30% chance of showers and isolated thunderstorms. For the rest of the northwest Bahamas, including New Providence, variably cloudy, becoming mostly fair tonight, but still a 20 to 40% chance of showers and isolated thunderstorms. For the northern half of the country, winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times, but higher gusts expected for the northwest Bahamas. For the central southeast Bahamas, partly cloudy today, becoming variably cloudy tonight. A 20 to 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms for the central islands, but 50 to 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms for the southeastern islands as that front moves through. Winds northeast to east at 15 to 20 knots, with higher gusts in the southeast Bahamas. Temperatures today, we're looking at highs between 88 and 90 Fahrenheit, about 31 and 32 Celsius. The heat index will make you feel like it's anywhere from 100 to 104 Fahrenheit. 39 to 40 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have more on your extended outlook and a look at the tropics coming up in just a bit. This weather check brought to you by Star General Insurance, made simple.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
You are listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
The old way. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up.
'Tis the season for dreams to come true. There's Santa for the kids and CIBC Caribbean for you. Whether it's a house, land, vehicle, or upgrading your home, CIBC Caribbean can support your dreams with the financing you need. Enjoy incredible cashback deals with mortgages and land loans. Plus, your approved loan gives you a chance to win up to US $5,000. Apply now at www.cibccaribbean.com/sweeten the season. Terms and conditions apply.
This October, Bahama invites you to indulge your senses at the Culinary and Arts Festival, where world-class flavors meet breathtaking creativity in the heart of the Bahamas. Join us October 22nd through 26th for an unforgettable celebration featuring culinary legends Daniel Boulud, Marcus Samuelson, Dario Cicchini, and Simeon Hall Jr., alongside a vibrant lineup of Bahamian chefs and mixologists. Explore captivating art installations, interactive workshops, and live performances, all set against the stunning backdrop of Nassau's premier luxury resort. And don't miss an electrifying live performance by global superstar Lenny Kravitz, headlining the festival's welcome party on Friday, October 24th, with a concert experience you won't forget. This is more than a festival, it's a feast for the soul. Tickets and packages are going fast. Visit bahamar.com to reserve your spot at the Culinary and Arts Festival at Bahamar, where taste and talent take center stage. Bahamar, life spectacular.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good to be alive.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or are tech troubles simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976. This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow, Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, DeAndre Cartwright will be joining us. Got a lot to talk about this morning, a lot in the news. We'll get to that in a bit. But also, the Unstoppable Weekend is fast approaching. That's a big event for HACIS Empowerment and Resource Center for Women. We're going to get details about that. Your final few days for you to register for that are very near. So, everything you need to know coming up. And it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We're going to be talking about breast cancer in the Bahamas with Ministry of Health officials. That's all ahead. But right now, let's get into what is in the news. And in the news, oh man, so much to talk about, don't know where to begin. A lot of big stories in the papers today. The big headline in the NASA Guardian. Support for more web shop licenses. Craig Flowers, Everybody Wins FML group of companies, not a part of that group that's requesting a 25-year extension on the moratorium. That's pretty interesting stuff there as well. Wayne Monroe, the National Security Minister, says, hey, if you don't want to get killed, Bahamians, stay out of go-fast boats leaving Venezuela. My goodness, wow. And interesting story here. Will the news be biased by all the people who are on the PLP's ticket? You've got the president of the Tribune. You've got the head of Island Luck, who's also running Eyewitness News, and it looks like Clint Watson, the news director from the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, is campaigning as well. So what is happening? We're going to get to that story in just a bit. Just really quickly want to mention this, which is, I don't know where to put this one, but this caught my eye. Ex-FNM MP Wells plans to run as independent. Okay. Former Bamboo Town MP Renwick Wells intends to run, this is in the Tribune, run as an independent candidate in the next general election, setting himself against the FNM, of which he was once a prominent member. Also, he was also a prominent member of the PLP and any political party you could think of. I think he was a part of that, too. The Tribune understands, he's been, every single one. Which party was he not a part of? Maybe the COI. It's only a matter of time, though. The Tribune understands that Mr. Wells intends to launch his official campaign before the by-election. This comes after Wells was denied the nomination, a decision that sparked fierce backlash from the Constituency Association. Did it? Fierce. Fierce backlash? Okay. Now, party insiders say party chairman Dwayne Sands is now eyeing the party's nomination for Bamboo Town instead of Elizabeth, the constituency he once represented and unsuccessfully contested on 3 other occasions, including a by-election. Wells served as the MP for Bamboo Town, first under the Christie administration and then under the Minutes administration. He later served as Minister of Transport, Minister of Health, and was one of the most prominent FNM MP's members to publicly support Dr. Minutes' leadership and at the party's last convention. Well, interesting times. We'll see how that goes. But just thought to bring that to your attention there. Okay. All right, so where do we go? Let's go to this. We've talked quite a bit about this so far this morning in the news. This is making headlines all over, in the U.S., in the Caribbean, and Bahamians are concerned. Some are definitely about this because it's starting in the southern Caribbean Sea, but will it eventually make its way closer to the Bahamas, what the U.S. is doing in trying to fight narco trafficking? So, our Rachel Scott writing about this. Minister of National Security Wayne Monroe advising Bahamians to stay out of go-fast boats leaving Venezuela. Monroe responding to concerns over U.S. strikes in Caribbean waters against what it says are drug traffickers leaving Venezuela. So Monroe said, quote, I would advise Bahamians to stay out of go-fast boats leaving Venezuela. We're not going to be doing what the Americans are doing, but you would be well to stay out of their way. A recent U.S. strike is suspected to have killed 2 Trinidadian men and 4 others, prompting renewed outrage and concern in some quarters over ramifications of foreign military operations in Caribbean waters. Monroe said that the reality is that it would be impossible to push back against the United States, saying, quote, if they're determined, for instance, to deploy in international waters between the Bahamas and the U.S., what can we do to restrict them in finding what they say is in their national interest? Well, that's pretty sad. But a reality, I guess. He added, quote, I don't see us sending the Defense Force out to contest them, so we are unable to restrict them in the they see necessary to defend the national interest. Quote, if they decide to do that, we would have to seek to give our citizens warning to prevent them falling victims to perhaps a military strike. In fact, if they were to choose to sail in your harbor, there's nothing you could do. It would be a breach of your sovereignty, and you could complain, but you couldn't stop them. Oh, my God. That's the National Security Minister, folks. Monroe said that individuals believed to be taking part in illegal actions should be brought before courts. On Saturday, CARICOM issued a statement after its heads of government, with the exception of Trinidad and Tobago, reaffirmed the principle of maintaining the Caribbean region as a zone of peace. CARICOM says there needs to be dialogue and engagement towards the peaceful resolution of disputes and conflict, and that is willing to assist in that way. Okay, so let's get your reaction to this, folks. I've heard some people, not many, saying they were very concerned about what the U.S. is doing, and that they're not providing any evidence that the folks leaving these vessels from Venezuela are indeed drug traffickers. They're just saying they are, and their concerns that this could become more widespread, like they could be leaving Barbados, or they could be leaving Jamaica, or they could be leaving eventually the Bahamas, and that they could see we suspect those were drug traffickers, and we blew up the boat. Maybe they are, but what if they're not? What if they are just fishermen from Long Island or Spanish Wells? What would that mean? You hear the Minister of National Security saying there's nothing we could do about it. What's your say on this? Let's talk. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. You know, I mean, you might say, hey, well, drug traffickers deserve to be blown up. Maybe, but what if they aren't? Trinidad and Tobago saying those two men weren't. They're fishermen. Maybe. So what? What happens when it is literally on our shores? Let's hear from you. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Mr. Strachan, how are you doing, sir?
Good morning.
How are you doing? Mr. Strachan, the minister, he's being honest, He is telling Bahamians, if you're going down to Venezuela, don't come out there on a fishing boat, on a go-fast boat, because it's a possibility you might lose your life. You know what I'm saying? And also the minister is being truthful. If America deems something is not security interest, what can we do? We could protest to the World International Court of Justice, but I say, what can we do? Mr. Strachan.
Yeah, well, I'm listening. Mm-hmm.
The last thing, right? I noticed this morning, editor, Travis Carter said, he hoped these people don't be biased. No disrespect to you, but we have Miss Candida James, who was the minister's sister, and we can assume that she was biased. So it's just another thing, Mr. Strachan.
You could assume that, but it doesn't mean that was the case. Right? Just because you assume it doesn't mean that it was the case.
I know, and then he can't assume it all.
That's very different. Thing, right? It's very different to be a relative of somebody who's running versus being the person who's running and the owner of and the director of a nation. Very different things.
No, let me ask you a question, right? In that country, who is more powerful in the country? A person who owns a vape shop or a person who owns a bank, an oil construction company? Who's more powerful?
I don't think I can answer that.
I think Brent Simmons owns a bank, construction company. Brent Simmons controlled the Bahamas economy for years, and this man was to be prime minister. So why so much pushback with Sabas running for the PLP? Not you.
I can answer the question. Thank you very much for the call. Very easy answer. Again, it's the type of industry that is one of the biggest concerns, and how the industry came to be, despite what the public said about it. Those are the reasons. Those are some of the main reasons. Let's not mix things up. It's the second time we brought up this, and he's not the owner. His family's involved, but it's not. But very different issues. Very different issues. But I appreciate the call. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Happy Monday, Dwight. How are you, man?
Same to you. Doing well.
I was waiting to hear what the Minister of National Security would have say, and including, I was thinking that he would have spoken in jointly with the Justice Department of the Bahamas, because while there are some geopolitics that is that you hear playing out in the minister's statement, there's also the sovereignty issue that he didn't address and speak to as firmly as I would have liked him to. Mm-hmm. And he seemed to have taken a cowardice way out of this issue. And as leaders in the Caribbean, being a coward in terms of our point of view when these issues arise is not always helpful. The U.S. has been a bully in this issue. It has never been accepted. I've worked in drug enforcement and interdiction for much of my life. My last stunt in this area worked with an American company, American Airlines. And I've never sat in a room where the policy was that we should kill people before we give them the respect and the entitlement based on all of the conventions that we know for due process. And for the minister to speak so flippantly about the global community at first, and then the people who hired him, the right to due process, and to just say that the connection between entitlement to due process and a fair trial should come down to not being on a fast boat leaving Colombia. But it's
Venezuela.
not just that.
But yes, same thing.
Venezuela. It's not just that. It's like you pointed out. This incident seems to be affecting much of the region, in the sense that you know that they started targeting Venezuela, but it affected Colombia, and we know that there are concerns that Trinidadians might have been affected in one story. So the point is that I would like for the Minister and the Attorney General to issue a statement that speaks firmly to the Bahamian people's right to due process wherever we are in the world, but most importantly, in our territorial waters. And I would hope that this is only the beginning, and the Minister would acknowledge that he did not speak. I hope he's not speaking for the Prime Minister on this, because he seems to throw due process out of the window. Wherever you are in the world, as a citizen of the Bahamas, you're entitled to due process. Doesn't matter what the United States agenda is. Due process should always be a part of that experience.
And to your point, I mean, it may be the reality, and we can all admit that, more than likely he is absolutely right on this, but I don't know if the Minister of National Security should be saying that there's nothing we could do if they sail into the harbor and we can't do anything about it.
It's not his position as the minister responsible for national security in conjunction with the Attorney General. The Constitution requires them to protect, to speak for the Bahamian people's right to due process. And he did not do that. That's a dereliction of duty. Okay? For him to easily say that if I'm moving around the world, my ability to avoid the United States violating my right to due process, which is what they're doing. They're not even producing evidence. They just had one on the case. And for him to say there's a dereliction of duty, you must first defend my right, and then let the court, whatever the process is, if you lose it in court and the issues, whatever. But you didn't even begin by saying that. That's a dereliction of duty.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Callers, before I get to you, I want to read this text. It's a very interesting text here. This text says, Dwight, a few months ago, you had no problem when the Haitian police shot and killed 2 Bahamians and Jamaicans for trafficking drugs through their waters. So what's the problem now? Just because it's the Trump administration doing it? Okay, texter. So it's not that I had no problem with it. I'll admit, very flippant about it. I didn't, what you doing? There's nobody who's saying otherwise they weren't drug dealers. I'm not saying that people should go around shooting people, again, like John said, without due process, right? You have to have a fair trial. But the issue today, what we're talking about, is that the U.S. is not providing any evidence that they were drug dealers or traffickers. That's all we're saying. You might be shooting fishermen. You might have gotten some wrong intelligence. That's a concern. That was not the case in the matter you've brought up. But yeah, I shouldn't go there. But anyway, don't do this in any event, no matter what. No matter what. Where's the evidence? Arrest, put them on trial, deal with it in that way. Not like this. This is kind of crazy. No, it's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
I agree with you. Good morning, Dwight. It is crazy. And it's crazy because of the mentality of the leader of this, what we call the most powerful man in the world right now. So I think you need to respect the fact that even though he may be delusional, he may be saying things, and a lot of things that he say really doesn't resonate with the truth. He's claiming that each boat he hit would save about 25,000 American lives, citing the overdose and all that stuff. But
well, he's not the only one saying it. I mean, the Secretary of Defense, all the others are going along with it. And so it's not just him, but maybe they are doing what they have to do.
Well, they have to go along with it. Let's just fix that straight now. They have to go along with it, or else they would be moving along.
Let's not make it personal. That's his stance in the United States.
Okay, let's not make it personal, but let's do the fact that we see in front of us. You're talking about due process? You have Americans right now who are fighting for due process, something that's constitutionally sounded, guaranteed to them. This habeas corpus and all these other foreign terminologies matters. You deserve your day in court for whatever crime you commit. Because, just because you committed a crime doesn't mean you're guilty. You have to be proven in the court of law. But don't let's get personal, but people are taking it personal and deciding that they're going to be judge and jury and just initiate a strike. Yeah. So maybe you got to use the mail boats. They move real slow. And I don't know, I mean, I'm not into drug trafficking, but I do
sounds
know
like you're about to give some tips. No, don't do this. Don't do it. Keep only mail on the mail boats. Do they do mail at all anymore? Mail and food? I don't know. Oh, boy. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, cousin Dwight.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, Grammy boy, I am wonderful. After being attacked last week by some Progressive Liberal Party supporters who were held dear to me.
What?
I wouldn't call their name, yeah.
On the radio or physically?
No, they called me on my phone and attacked me, called me all kind of things because I supported Belinda Wilson and her stance.
Well, join the club.
And that I commented on.
That's us daily. That's us daily. Join the club.
Yeah, exactly. Like I scared of anything. Let me first qualify who Grammy Boy is. In 81, I joined the United States Air Force right out of high school, St. John's College, as an airman first class, okay? So let me just put that out there, because, you got all kind of people who think Grammy Boy, them is Joneses and things. You understand? But they get it wrong. And now I said that to say John did a very good dissertation. And the way it should be done is that if you are caught out on high seas or in spaces or illegally fishing or somewhere you ain't supposed to be, right? The Coast Guard or the Harbor Patrol or whoever is supposed to stop you, check you, make sure you got everything in order, or they can charge you, or they could take away your vessel. That is the way it is supposed to be done in a court of law. However, as ex-military, the problem what Venezuela is having is that Trump, even although unorthodox it may have been, Trump has declared them a terrorist state.
Right.
That is the difference. So that's the reason why if you come out of there anywhere in that area after being declared a terrorist state, the Americans or whoever declare that, or any part of the world could shoot you down.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. You understand? They're supposed to stop them. As a matter of fact, they still try to stop them, but those drug runners don't stop. So they have a right as a terrorist, as a defender from a terrorist state, to shoot them down. Now, Wayne Monroe, he wasn't ever my favorite cup of tea with his utterances. John, what he could have done was caution Bahamians. John is right. We have the right to go, but if the United States or my country caution me or tell me, don't come out of Venezuela or no funny looking nothing.
Well, that's what he did.
I ain't gonna do it, Dwight.
He did say that. He said, stay out of go-fast boats leaving Venezuela.
Yeah, but like you say, you got to have some kind of, you're a minister, man. Got to have some kind of diplomacy. Caution. I'm cautioning Bahamians. Not what can we can't do nothing. What do you mean we can't do nothing? But thanks for taking Airman first class.
Oh, Grammy boy, we got to get you on the show one day to talk about your
man,
life.
Right, just because.
Okay.
When you're ready.
Thanks a lot. All right. Interesting, very interesting language. Let's read these text messages before we move to another hot topic. This person says here, this is about the web shops. We'll get to that in a bit. This person says here, the U.S. strike is clearly murder. Whoa. No attempt was made to stop the vessel because they have the tools to do so and search the vessel, but they are sending a message to the island nations. It is murder. My goodness, was. Okay. Well, this person says here, oh my gosh, where do we get these weak leaders from? What do you mean there's nothing we can do? Well, this texter says, our national security minister is just willing to lay prostrate to the U.S. and doesn't provide any protection for our fishermen. This is wild. Well, fishermen in quotation marks leaving on go-fast boats from Venezuela. But if in the future, which could be next week, the U.S. decides that there's a lot of drug movement from the Bahamas and they want to do something, apparently there's very little we could do, according to the Minister of National Security. This person says that even if those boats are full of drugs, the United States does not have the right to murder these boaters. This murder again. Wow. There's something called the rule of law. Mm-hmm. So the National Security Minister confirms what has been an open secret, that we're classified as an independent nation, but other countries control our waters and our policies, and we must resign ourselves to the realization that we cannot defend ourselves and will make no efforts to do so. All hail drug and human trafficking and illegal landings. Might as well have another country's military base here, too. Oh, just wait. Yeah. Well, I don't know what the all hail human and drug trafficking thing was about. What's that part? Because you're like making some kind of sense. Well, I don't know what that was. But anyway, I know the frustration is getting to you. It is something else. This person says here, I agree with Minister Monroe that if Bahamians or folks who live in this country have any sense, they will not get mixed up in this drug trafficking thing towards America. Why are you saying towards America? You mean in general, right? Yeah. If they do, meet your fate. Lastly, over the weekend, they took out a drug submarine. Okay. A drug submarine. Yeah, I mean, I think it is decent advice, but again, as people say, the way that he said it is overly blunt, maybe? I don't know. But I advise anybody to stay out of Venezuela entirely. What you going there for? You might want to think twice about going to Colombia as well. To your callers, if you commit a crime, you are indeed guilty. If you are accused of a crime, you may not be guilty. There is a difference. No, well, you may not be found guilty. You mean. But okay. While I voted PLP in the recent election, Wayne Monroe has to resign as National Security Minister. How could he give up our security? We must go with comments. He must go with comments like that. Well, again, like that previous texture said, I mean, we've kind of sort of really we've known this. What could we really do if any major power decides to do something? I don't even know if we could do much against Turks and Caicos, to tell you the truth. But anyway, I love the remarks from the airman. We don't know about who labors among us. That's about the caller, GNN. Yeah, did God give the U.S. the right to declare other states as terrorists? God, I don't know why you're bringing God in this, but they've done it, and they do almost anything they want all the time. From at least the beginning of the 20th century. They are the policemen of the world. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, are you there? No? All right, call us back. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Toll free, 242-300-5720. Continue to send your messages about that. But I want to move on to the big story in the Nassau Guardian today. There are two big ones in here, actually. We'll get to the bias in the media, potential bias in the media in a bit. But the big headline, support for more web shop licenses. Craig Flowers not part of that group requesting 25 additional years on that moratorium. So our Candia Dame's writing about that today. Veteran Bahamian businessman Craig Flowers, owner of the FML web shop chain, also known as Everybody Wins, saying on Sunday that he is not part of any group that has requested an additional 25-year moratorium on gaming licenses and would welcome the industry being opened up to new operators. Flowers speaking during an interview with the Nassau Guardian saying, quote, I have absolutely no objections to anyone entering the field once you qualify by virtue of government and government determines that. Flowers saying, quote, I don't think there should be any business that should be exclusive for any one Bahamian or two Bahamians or three Bahamians. I do think that once you qualify, the government will be the deciding factor to determine that. The Nassau Guardian reported last week that gaming operators who were given a 10-year moratorium on gaming licenses under the Christie administration are seeking an additional 25 years. The moratorium means that only a few operators are permitted to operate web shops in this country. Asked if he's among those seeking an additional 25 years, Flowers said, quote, I'm not asking for anything. I think every year our license is dealt with. We have to apply. And we pay our license, large amounts of funds every year. If you don't pay it, you will lose your license. The conversation was never had with me about it. There have been papers and proposals, but no one has ever approached me. In a meeting at the Prime Minister's office, when this question was raised, I was sitting at the table, and the Prime Minister's office would have asked that these matters or these requests be documented, and that was the first and last time I heard about the moratorium. Flower says the government needs to take an holistic approach to the industry and make decisions based on facts, including what the industry is now generating. He said the understanding at the time of the regularization of the industry under the Christie administration was that there would be a wider discussion on policy issues, including what would be reasonable taxation. He said it ended up where we ended up with 13% tax, which is 11% on gaming revenue to the government, and 2%, which were supposed to be given to charitable organizations. The industry has grown and has exploded to the point where I think that the government can and should receive more taxes from the industry. Let's read that again. This is Craig Flower saying this. The industry has grown and exploded to the point where I think that the government can and should receive more taxes from the industry. Flower says the government should sit at the table and discuss policy issues with industry operators, saying, quote, my position that I've taken on the matter over the years has been clear that I believe that we need to be called back to the table by the government and have a discussion on a national level as to how local domestic revenues are controlled from gaming. Okay, so he goes on a lot about that, but let's get your view on this. So that's one of the major operators saying they don't need this extension on the moratorium, and that after the 10 years, there should be wider participation by Bahamians in this growing industry. Let's get your reaction. 323-6232, 325-416, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. The phone lines are all lit up. Got a lot of your text messages coming in. Let's hear from you. Good morning, caller. What say you on this?
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Good morning, my blessed Bahamas. You know, JJ love you all, BMB people. You know, Dwight, I can say two things. Dwight, because I already text you on the flowers issue. The flowers, thank you very much, sir. God bless you. At least you ain't a hog. You know what I mean? And when those guys had a 10 years moratorium, we were supposed to be able to buy shares. They ain't you know. They was to give the government money to deal with the addicts who gamble plenty. Thank you, Mr. Flowers. Now back to the issue. Right. What Pilate told the Jews?
Tell us.
I answer clean. See, when you're putting people in national security and things in America got to have date on some of these people. You're supposed to be the minister of national security to where to protect the country and protect the Bahamian people, and you can come and talking about that bunch of crap. Mr. Mano, you need to resign the ASAP, man. Get out of the way.
What did you want him to say? What did you think he could say?
Listen to me, Dwight. America is our closest ally. We had a base in Ortec base from the 50s. They're giving us $12 million here. Puerto Rico, they had the same setup in Puerto Rico, and they're giving Puerto Rico $5 billion. You know. All I need is the Bahamas week. That's why you guys stop taking things from the people, man. Stand up and be like the Prime Minister of Barbados. You got to be strong.
Why did you bring up Puerto Rico? Because of the difference in the money?
What I'm saying is Puerto Rico had a base, just like what we have in Ortec.
I mean,
and Americans giving Puerto Rico, the Puerto Rican government, $5 billion a year.
Well, that is a U.S. territory, though. I mean, I don't think we can compare it.
Peter, like my thing is, man, we got too much weak leaders. Okay, please, Bahamian people, don't put these weak people in our parliament. Put people in our parliament who are not clean, who love God.
But what did you want him to say? People? You want him to say that we would fight them? We'd send our Defense Force boats out there to deal with the battleships?
No, you know, we can't fight the Americans, man. Americans are allies. Like Stopper say, he joined the United States Army, with a pilot. We guys speak through the power, man. See, people, they put their head in the sand. Okay? There's something called diplomacy. This way you got your foreign affairs for sit down and talk. Pass over another inside meetings. This country belongs to Bahamian people, you know. This is our country.
Maybe not. But I hear you. Thank you very much. Okay, I appreciate it. I think he stated the reality. We don't like it. He probably didn't need to say that out loud. It should not be in the record. It shouldn't be in a paper. But it is the truth. There's very little we could do. Extremely little. Less than little. But we don't need to hear the National Security Minister say that. Now, stay out of boats leaving, go fast boats leaving Venezuela. not the diplomatic way to say it, but it's the truth. If you don't want to get blown up, don't be on a go fast boat leaving Venezuela. It is absolutely the truth, because God help you if you are. But again, we want to hear our leaders say things in a different way. In a different way. Good morning, DeAndre Cartwright. Great to have you with us.
Good morning, Dwight. Strachan. Happy to be here. Now, I really want us to also consider Wayne Monroe has never been diplomatic. Like, I think we need to keep that in mind.
He doesn't speak in a diplomatic way.
No.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Definitely not. Straight up, And for some folks...
Raw.
Yeah, for some folks, I think we need to be blunt. Right now, particular things should not need to be said out loud. But again, I feel as though... I want to say for the past few decades, we've been walking over a few pertinent points about governance and our interrelations with other countries, And so I think in cases like this, where you see such outcomes, I guess maybe he was frustrated. Now, I was listening when I was coming in, right, about conventions we signed on to, instruments. And y'all don't know me. I know a little something about those things, right? There are several instruments that govern potentially almost every aspect of these types of activities. Now, the issue is when you have one particular country executing its own type of actions on its own justifications outside of a legal parameter that's been agreed by a multitude of nations. So I would say, let's just start off with the law of the sea. That's one set of laws. It's literally a series of laws and a framework. Then you have to look at multinational jurisdictions. There are several pieces of legislation, international instruments, that have been signed on by many countries, but we have to take a step back from those because some countries do no longer respect as much those same instruments that have been agreed. And then also the argument being made in this particular case is that if it's serving its own national interests, then some countries will do what they feel is best. So there's a lot of complexity here, and it'll take us more than one show to really unwind all of that.
Yeah. All right, so back to the web shops. Get your views in. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
And good morning, Ms. Cartwright. Morning, Bahamas. Dwight, I agree with Mr. Flowers. And I believe that, the time has come to allow more Bahamians, to do what we need to do. Remember, under the first Ingham administration, he came up with this thing to eliminate monopolies all over the Bahamas. But it seems as if that we have taken a turn backward under Perry Christie in terms of monopolies being broken. We shouldn't be in the business of creating more monopolies. Allow the Bahamians to participate, while many may not have the money to be directly involved. But, this is why I really supported the national lottery, because all over the U.S., Canada, you could find 7-Eleven stores selling lotto tickets. And this could be a way to empower Bahamians. I don't know if Mr. Plaza is looking at it from that perspective, but it's to try to get into that particular business, to be, one who are selling lotto tickets. It'll be difficult to even get in there. They don't really let you in there like that. But then back to...
they wouldn't let you in. You'd be safer on a Venezuelan go-fast boat than to try to break into that industry at the moment. But thank you very much. Yeah, let's take these calls really quickly before we go to the break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? Hi. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air. Nope. Okay, let's take this one before we go. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, Dwight, how you doing? Alan Johnson.
Hi.
Right, just quick things on what the minister said. He could have done both. He could have protested in respect to the rights that we would be violated for what the U.S. is doing, and then separately issue an advisory to the humans to be careful. But that's his thinking. But on this gaming thing, Mr. Flowers is correct, but this goes even further. First of all, this concept called numbers, and I know people talk about it. Numbers is a form of a lottery. And then we have a new word called spinning, which is actually digital casinos. And so when we look at things in its proper context, then we can have a conversation. the gaming industry, which is the iGaming industry, is a $1 trillion industry with literally 1 billion or more people playing every single year. There's a unique opportunity for those in the industry who can qualify to service that international market from the iGaming aspect, as well as for those who say the Bahamas is too small. The world has changed from the world of economics, of funding, or paying what is called lotteries. So the tune of trillions of dollars is now available in the market that was not available 2, 3, even 5 years ago. And so the concept of a lottery from an international lottery, depending on the price you offer, is absolutely possible. The U.S. who have the restriction is based on currency control, or what they call, how you used to use those words, dirty money, or all these other different things. Well, guess what? Tokenization and cryptocurrencies has thrown those laws to the wind. So we need to have a conversation in context of the $1 trillion opportunity available to the Bahamas and Bahamians.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. You want to do one more? Yeah? Hi, are you there, caller?
Yeah, Dwight.
Hi.
I wanted to comment on, before you cut me through abruptly, I wanted to comment on Ben Monroe.
Really quickly.
Yeah, I don't know what we expect from Ben Monroe in terms of him saying something differently. You know, you have to understand, Dwight, it isn't that we are all innocent. You know, we have some high-ranking police officers who are in jail now. And who are facing serious charges. So I don't know, and it seems like the Ben is general credit to us. So you don't expect Ben Monroe to say anything different at this time, and it would be wise for him to stay away from those things. Maybe they need to move around if they have to go in those areas.
Well, just don't get into drug trafficking. Yeah.
If they break down, they need to make sure have their signs up saying that mayday or they need to be rescued, because Donald Trump isn't playing around. So that's just my take on that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Don't be around there. Just don't be around there. All right, we're going to read your text messages when we get back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Bring your mind next to me. I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see? I lose control.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
AP News for Friday, October 17th. I'm Ben Thomas. President Trump's pushing for an end to the Russia-Ukraine war, leaning on both sides.
In my opinion, they should stop the war immediately. You go by the battle line wherever it is, otherwise it's too complicated. You'll never be able to figure it out. You stop at the battle line, and both sides should go home, go to their families, stop the killing, and that should be it. Stop right now at the battle line. I told that to President Zelensky. I told it to President Putin.
Trump spoke after hosting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House again Friday.
President is right that we have to stop where we are.
Zelensky also speaking after.
Look, first, we need ceasefire. So we need to sit and speak and to understand where we are. And I think this is the most important first step.
In other news, the Trump administration has asked the Supreme Court to allow the deployment of National Guard troops in the Chicago area. The emergency appeal came after a federal judge blocked it for at least 2 weeks, and an appeals court upheld that ruling. Prince Andrew is giving up his royal title of the Duke of York as his friendship with sex offender Jeffrey Epstein is back in the headlines. And Jennifer King has an update on George Santos.
In a post on social media, President Trump says he's commuted the sentence of George Santos. The former New York representative, the first openly gay Republican elected to Congress, was serving more than 7 years in federal prison in southern New Jersey. Santos pled guilty to fraud and identity theft, admitting he scammed donors and stole the identities of 11 people, including family members, to get donations for his political campaign. The judge agreed with prosecutors that Santos didn't seem remorseful, warranting the stiff sentence. Santos was also charged with fraudulently collecting unemployment benefits and lying to Congress. It's the president's latest act of clemency for former Republican politicians. I'm Jennifer King.
This is AP News. There were more arrests Friday during protests outside an ICE facility near Chicago.
Tensions are high throughout Chicago over the presence of ICE agents.
Even dropping them up, it's
It's scary.
This woman, Corey, was dropping her children off at school.
What if ICE comes and even though they're legal just because their color of their skin, what's going to happen? Like, what if I come to pick them up and they're not here?
At local businesses,
Anytime I hear whistles, I'm on edge.
business owner Vanessa Aguiar Avalos listens for whistles.
The short whistle sound like this is just to let people know that ICE is in the area. But if you do like a longer one where it's like ICE is actually detaining someone.
She says even if ICE stops what they're doing right now, the damage in Chicago is already done. I'm Ed Donahue.
The latest through the weekend at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
And it's time for your first look at traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. With RBC, your ideas happen here. In your real-time traffic, we are seeing heavy traffic on Milo Butler Highway from just north of the Fire Trail roundabout. As you approach Harold Pond, you're going to see that heavy traffic all the way up to Tawny Williams Darling Highway roundabout, and traffic back to belong Tawny Williams Darling Highway westbound right now as well. Once you get north of that roundabout, if you're heading northbound, you're going to still see some slow-moving traffic straight up to the six-legged roundabout, and heavy traffic on the J Drive side as you approach that roundabout eastbound. If you're near Saunders Beach, you're going to be seeing slow-moving traffic eastbound on West Bay Street towards the roundabout with New Providence Highway. Elsewhere, we've got Blue Hill Road north of Carmichael and between Carmichael and Soldier Road, heavy northbound traffic there. And Independence Drive westbound to that roundabout with Blue Hill Road, slow-moving westbound traffic there. East Street, very busy for you. North of Soldier Road on the way to that roundabout with East-West Highway and Independence Drive. That's going to pick up again north of that area, closer to Robinson Road. And in eastern New Providence at Prince Charles Drive, the major intersections, and heading into Robinson Road as well. And pockets along Eastern Road, especially just east of Fox Hill Road. Fox Hill, heavy southbound traffic off Eastern Road heading near the schools in that area. Keep that in mind as you make your way about. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC. With RBC, your goals happen here. Time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Here's what's happening. We've got a weak frontal boundary that's going to continue to support showers and thunderstorms across the southeast Bahamas and portions of the central Bahamas before more severe weather comes across the southeast Bahamas overnight. Prefrontal activity associated with the cold front just north of the Bahamas will enhance the potential for showers and isolated thunderstorms across the northern and northwest Bahamas before we see gradually more stable conditions by tonight. So by late Tuesday, early Wednesday, a developing tropical system in the Caribbean Sea will begin to induce troughing across the country. This is going to lead to increased shower and thunderstorm activity, mainly for the southeast Bahamas through the remainder of the week. Expect fresh to strong breezes across the area from mid to late week as that pressure gradient tightens in response to the tropical system and building high pressure to the north. So for today, thunderstorms are possible across the southeast Bahamas, have the potential to be severe at times. And coastal flooding is expected along Atlantic exposures. Motorists and pedestrians should exercise caution. There's a moderate risk of rip currents as well along Atlantic exposed shorelines. Your forecast for today, a mix of sun and clouds, becoming mostly fair tonight for the extreme northern Bahamas, including Grand Bahama and Abaco. For the rest of the northwest Bahamas, including us in New Providence, variably cloudy today, becoming mostly fair tonight. A 20 to 40% chance for showers and isolated thunderstorms across the northern half of the country. Shower and thunderstorm chances elevated for the central and southeast Bahamas as well. A 20 to 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms with partly cloudy skies, becoming variably cloudy tonight for the central islands. Partly cloudy to cloudy today and tonight for the southeast Bahamas with a 50 to 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms, as we told you, potentially severe thunderstorms for the southeast Bahamas today. High temperatures around 88 to 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius, with the heat index making you feel like it's anywhere from 100 to 104 Fahrenheit, 40 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. In your extended outlook for tomorrow, Tuesday, a mix of sun and clouds for the northern half of the country. Partly cloudy to cloudy for the central and southeastern islands. Still a 50 to 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms for the southeastern islands. For Wednesday, partly sunny during the day, becoming mostly fair at night. Partly cloudy to cloudy for the central and southeast Bahamas. And still an elevated chance of showers and thunderstorms for the central and southeastern islands. By Thursday, pretty much the same conditions. Variably cloudy for the northern half of the country, partly cloudy to cloudy with overcast periods for the central and southeast Bahamas. That's going to hold straight through to the end of the week. That is your morning blend weather check. Brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Plug into the future. The new 2026 models have arrived at Easy Car Sales, and they are electric. Visit easy242.com and book your test drive today.
Are you searching for something new? Something exciting? Your dream job in paradise? Well, look no further. Royal Beach Club Paradise Island is hiring. Join a dynamic group of passionate hospitality professionals, craft unforgettable moments, and thrive in a vibrant, welcoming atmosphere. Play your part in shaping the future of our team while growing your own career every day. Bring your energy, your passion, and your creativity to a workplace that's as dynamic and fun as you are. At Royal Beach Club Paradise Island, the opportunities don't just exist. They're limitless. So are you ready to find your perfect fit? Visit Royal Beach Club at paradiseisland.com/career today and step into a world of exciting possibilities.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
I'm a boatman, a seaman. My work is on the water. Free diving, throw no line is how I survive. Listen, from foggy to yellowtail, from jackfish to killer whale, I jump in my dingy boat and I head on down the coast. I need a fish to bite, my kids gotta eat tonight, so I do what I gotta do, take some fish back for them to stew. I've been in the trade long, and I was made strong by my father's son. He said, get rich boy to make your man. Once you got a big line, son, you'll be fine. Just keep your eye out for them floating groupers passing by. I'm a boatman, a seaman. My work is on the water, free diving.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with DeAndre Cartwright. Wayne Monroe, the National Security Minister, says, hey, if you don't get blown up, Bahamians, Stay out of go-fast boats leaving Venezuela. So that's his advice. We're getting a reaction to that. And Craig Flowers says he does not support an extension of the moratorium for web shop licenses. So we're getting a reaction to that, and then we want to talk about one other thing before we have to take a break. So let's get your text messages. This person says here, thank God Flowers is no hog. Wow, and it's real rude for the greedy numbers boys to want an extension of more than 25 years, and they still haven't lived up to the agreement they're supposed to give shares to the public. So way to go, Mr. Flowers. That's a text there. Wow, okay. This person says that this country is definitely a banana republic, an unstable, corrupt nation. Well, what? Our Minister of National Security can't secure our borders or citizens, so he should resign because no one cares if Bahamians get killed in other people's waters. We only care about everyone else. Well, I don't think you're looking at this in a rational way, but okay, I hear you. This person says, you do realize that ordinary, regular people live in Venezuela and Colombia, right? Ordinary people like fishermen who are now terrified to go to sea and whose families will not have an income. What prevents the U.S. from bombing Bahamian fishermen who have to go further out to get a decent catch since there's just indiscriminate bombing? Well, I don't think that's accurate. This has all been off the coast of Venezuela, but yes, this is the concern that it could become more widespread. That is the concern, and this is what the international community, especially Caribbean leaders, have been saying, right? That you start there, but what if your intelligence leads you to believe that it's happening closer to Bahamian waters? Are you going to still do this thing without proving what evidence you have to blow the boat out of the water? And this is why everyone says you have to be concerned. You have to be concerned.
The thing is that's a valid concern because you don't necessarily have the parameters to determine the safety of your own citizens in certain cases. And again, this is a very thin line that we're treading right now. I don't even know if the line exists anymore, but we need to not even keep a close eye on it. It's almost as though you cannot tell when the devolution of international law is going to happen to the point where it's impacting your people. And this is what we potentially happening right here.
Yeah. Back to Flowers. This person says Flowers has always been different from the others. Okay. In all fairness to the Bahamian people, Flowers and Bastion should be the ones lobbying for our national lottery. Other than those, everyone needs to shut up. Why? Why are you saying that? What? I don't understand what you're saying. What is your point? What? Why should they be? Why can't we? You're not making any sense.
Maybe they could tell us. Follow up, texter. Follow up.
And make it make sense. Much respect to the godfather of the numbers business. Okay. Reporters simply don't ask the largest operator who operates in everyone else's space what is his stance and vote accordingly. What? Reporters should simply ask the largest operator who operates.
That's what that, okay.
Should. Okay. But I'm sure we will. I'm sure somebody will. It'll be a very interesting response, I'm sure. If America says no, we will not pay and we are staying in your country, what can the minister say? Some people just love to hear themselves. Your co-host is very wise and speaks without dim-witted emotions. In regards to what the minister said, it couldn't have been better.
I don't know. That sounds loaded.
The last part, I'm not sure what that meant there. But okay. Are Bahamians able to go into the casinos yet to take part in this ungodly activity? Are Bahamians still being discriminated against? First part, no. Second part, yes. Mm-hmm. This person says here the U.S. is accusing Bahamians of smuggling Chinese nationals because we've received gifts from China, which could be another reason why they want to target our marinas. Our what? What?
Where is this coming from now?
What is this? Okay, let's move on. Wow. Let's be real. America does not need us for anything, nothing at all. People may say, well, we spend a lot of money there at Walmart. But America prints their own money. They don't need us. And by the way, who is holding our sovereignty? Which country can we claim sovereignty when our defenders' boats get shot down? Who did we call for help? So America is saying we have a drug problem right now. So you claim to be our ally. Prove it. Period. Well, again, Wayne Monroe speaking uncomfortable truth. And people are not feeling happy about it, but it is the truth. Public trust in governance in our country is important to all Bahamians. So the media, as a fourth estate, must have a clear mandate for the people. From Grand Bahama, we are listening today. I think we'll get to that in just a moment. Okay. And this person says here, I agree with Wayne Monroe with caution. Venezuela is a test. Boats leaving Haiti are next, followed by boats leaving Freeport. This is how you boil a frog. Wow. Boy. Wayne Monroe has made many Bahamians angry with his foolish statement concerning the Venezuela boats. It's them now, but it can be us later. God has got the hands of justice for all bullies. What is that? What does that mean? What does that part mean? This texter says a tyrant. Well, the language is getting darker. A tyrant will always find a pretext for their tyranny. Our neighbors to the north can justify anything. If we lay down and play dead like Monroe is advocating, then we will soon even stop having to justify it. And this texter says, it's amazing that these lost politicians are willing to tax the poor Bahamian people, but not willing to tax these numbers boys when one of them is begging to be taxed. We are in trouble in this country. Okay. Oh, boy. Let's take this call, and then I want to get to this story really quickly. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Deandra.
Hi, good morning.
First and foremost, before I give my commentary, let me just send one to Grammy's boy, Nana boy. Hey, aim high, my brother. Fly, fight, and win. You know what that means. That's the motto for the United States Air Force, okay? Many Bahamians do not know who is in their borders. That's why we are disrespected. They disclose. And you really need to take a look, really do some research on who is in your borders. Bahamians have served. Bahamians are serving. Bahamians are doing some incredible things, even though their names aren't mentioned. We need now to begin honoring each other instead of pulling each other down because of politics. That's all I'm going to say on that. As far as the numbers are concerned, I tip my hat and I salute Mr. Flowers. He has always been one of those persons who believe in fair play across the board when it comes down to the numbers industry. Remember, the numbers industry today should not even exist because the Bahamian people did vote no to the industry, but former Prime Minister Christie still went ahead against the wish of the people and brought about this industry. So why would we want to create a 25-year moratorium additionally on top of what is already in play now for these same particular numbers of persons who is in this industry? Why do you want to lock other people out? I am one of those who are simply against any moratorium for any extended years over 10 years. 25 years is ridiculous. Half of us wouldn't even be here. So what are we doing to our children that's up ahead? Are you going to have these the children of these particular persons empowered with all this wealth, but yet you want to stop other people from getting the wealth as well? It's totally ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So that's just my statement on that. I wouldn't even touch the Wayne Monroe situation. I understand that it is a very thin line that he's tapping on, but the danger of anything is, like one of the texts says, and I'll close on this, whenever you give anyone absolute power over anything, all you expecting right now is tyranny, and you could have a giant on your hands that you cannot even begin to push back on at a later time. We have to be very careful. We are a sovereign country. Let's begin to build the strength of this country with the strength of the Bahamians who are here, and let's carry our country to another level. Okay?
Thank you
That's
so
all I
much.
have to say on this.
Appreciate it. These text messages here. This person says, can you please read? More crackhead games. While the U.S. is carrying out drone strikes on vessels in Venezuelan waters suspected of drug trafficking, right here at home, several Defense Force boats sit idle on the airport road, 8 or 9 of them belonging to our own Marines. Before we comment on what America can or cannot do, perhaps we should focus on what we aren't doing. Those vessels should be in the water, protecting Bahamian sovereignty, deterring poachers, and defending our borders. That's a conversation that matters, not foreign operations, but the state of our own defense readiness. The question remains, when will we see those boats back in action? Okay, interesting. And this text here, the request from the owners of Island Luck, well, I don't know if it was them or just them. I think it is the operators, one specific company. But anyway, for an extended 25-year closed season, restricting entry into the gaming industry to a select group of qualified and innovative Bahamians serves as a clear indication that they are not true innovators. Instead, they appear to be privileged gatekeepers intent on safeguarding their own positions and profits within the small ecosystem of the Bahamas. In stark contrast, it's evident that Flowers is willing to embrace the broader global market, demonstrating a commitment to competition and innovation that would benefit or could benefit the entire nation. This highlights a fundamental clash between the desire for monopolistic control and the potential for progressive change in the gaming sector. But Sebastian, oh boy, they're making it about, okay. Mm-hmm. But the other operators want to govern the ecosystem he wants private control of. Okay. Interesting stuff there. So I'm just going to mention this quickly. We'll pick this up towards the end of the show. So stay tuned for this. But this is interesting. If you get a hold of the NASA Guardian, you can read about it so you can be more informed when we get to this later in the show. Or you can read it online, thenasaguardian.com. This is the headline. Will the news be biased by PLP candidacy? Tribune publisher says no. That's the headline. Our Travis Cartwright writing about it. Tribune publisher Robert DePuch-Caron said yesterday that his political ambitions will not compromise the integrity of the Tribune newspaper. DePuch-Caron is one of 3 media giants who have ventured into the political fray. ZNS General Manager Clint Watson is seeking a nomination from the PLP to run in Southern Shores. Eyewitness News owner Sebastian, who's better known as the highly successful CEO and owner of the gambling business Island Luck, has been ratified by the PLP to run in Fort Charlotte. The NASA Guardian reached out to all of the men over concerns that their media outlets could be or would be perceived as biased towards the PLP. DePuch-Caron is seeking the nod for the PLP for MyCal. 7 other political aspirants in the PLP are vying for MyCal as well. There's never been so many influential members of the Fourth Estate seeking ratification from one party at the same time. Never before. Asked about concerns that this could lead to media bias towards the PLP, DePuch-Caron said the Tribune has always been impartial and a voice for the voiceless. Did the others speak? Clint Watson did not comment when reached for comment. Bastians also did not offer comment when contacted yesterday, but said the general manager of Eyewitness News would issue a statement which had not been sent up to press time. Very interesting. We will pick this up a little bit later in the show. But what do you think about that? What do you think about that? What is that all about? Keep your thoughts. We're gonna pick it up when we have more time. We've got a lot to get to.
Full of subliminals right there.
A lot to get to right now. We're going to take a break. And like we said, later in the show, we want to hear from you on that. What do you make of that, folks? Never a dull moment in our wonderful Bahamas. We're going to take a break and be back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
At Cleveland Clinic, you set your course, not cancer. So when your journey takes an unexpected turn, you seek out the experts who've conquered it before, and you forge new paths to help fight cancers. For every route to a cure, for every care in the world. See how we're innovating cancer care at Cleveland Clinic today.
This October, Bahama invites you to indulge your senses at the Culinary and Arts Festival, where world-class flavors meet breathtaking creativity in the heart of the Bahamas. Join us October 22nd through 26th for an unforgettable celebration featuring culinary legends Marcus Samuelson, Dario Zucchini, Simeon Hall Jr., and Scott Conant, alongside a vibrant lineup of chefs and mixologists. Explore captivating art installations, interactive workshops, and live performances, all set against the stunning backdrop of Nassau's premier luxury resort. From curated tasting events to beachfront feasts and immersive gallery experiences, this is more than a festival. It's a feast for the soul. Tickets and packages are going fast. Visit bahamar.com to reserve your spot at the Culinary and Arts Festival at Bahamar, where taste and talent take center stage.
Don't wait for a storm to arrive. Stock up on hurricane supplies, make home repairs, purchase a generator, and more this hurricane season with a Fidelity personal loan. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Sherwin-Williams Bahamas doesn't mess about when it comes to product range and product knowledge.
If it's a new product come in the store, we walk the store and study that product.
One thing with our boss, if a new product comes in, he takes the time and he's always keeping us up to date with product knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And we just had 9 weeks of different products that we had to study, and we had exams at the end of each product.
Yeah.
The only way we can sell the product effective, we have to know that product. Yeah, that helps us to relate to our customers. It gives us better knowledge to know what product to introduce to them. You understand? So we can know what product to give them to use and what product not to give them to use.
Mm-hmm.
So product knowledge is really key in Sherwin-Williams.
They got the keys. And the key is the product knowledge that comes with our extensive product range at Sherwin-Williams Paints, Bahamas. Find color in every day.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
It is time for your final look at weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Here's what's happening. We have quite a bit going on for the next few days. A couple of factors. You've got a weak frontal boundary that's going to support showers and thunderstorms across the southeast Bahamas and portions of the central Bahamas. And that could result in some severe weather across the southeastern islands today, especially overnight. Plus, prefrontal activity associated with the cold front just north of the Bahamas. That's going to enhance the potential for showers and isolated thunderstorms across portions of the northern and northwest Bahamas, gradually becoming more stable by tonight. By late Tuesday, early Wednesday, a deepening tropical system in the Caribbean Sea will begin to bring some showers across the country. That's going to lead to increased shower and thunderstorm activity, mainly for the southeast Bahamas for the remainder of the week. Expect fresh to strong breezes across the area from mid to late week as the pressure gradient tightens in response to a tropical system that's building high pressure to the north of it, that tropical system in the Caribbean Sea. So for today, the severe weather risk is for the southeast Bahamas. Again, the potential for severe thunderstorms. And there is potential coastal flooding and rip currents for Atlantic exposures. Your forecast for today for the extreme northern islands, a mix of sun and clouds today, becoming mostly fair tonight. For the rest of the northwest Bahamas, variably cloudy during the day, becoming mostly fair tonight, a 20 to 40% chance of showers and isolated thunderstorms for the northern half of the country. For the southern half of the country, the central Bahamas, partly cloudy today, becoming variably cloudy tonight. Pretty much the same for the southeast Bahamas, but a greater chance of showers and thunderstorms for the southeastern islands. Up to 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms and severe thunderstorms today through tonight. Temperatures, look for highs ranging between 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius, and 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius. The heat index will make you feel like it's anywhere from 100 to 104 Fahrenheit, about 38 to 39 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to around 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. In your extended outlook, we're looking for a mix of sun and clouds for the northern half of the country for tomorrow, and pretty much the same for Wednesday. Partly sunny during the day, mostly fair at night. Wednesday and Thursday, cloudy to overcast by Friday. For the central and southeast Bahamas, look for partly cloudy to cloudy conditions for most of the week, with rain chances elevated across the area straight through to the weekend. In the tropics, we're watching a tropical wave over the eastern Caribbean Sea, a few hundred miles west of the Windward Islands. Formation chance through the next 7 days is about 70%. Again, this system will influence some of the weather for the southeastern Bahamas over the next few days. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. If you're looking to paint, your local Sherwin-Williams store has top quality paints, expert advice, and everyday discounts to help you save, only at Sherwin-Williams. It's time for your final look at traffic for today, brought to you by RBC. With RBC, your ideas happen here. In your real-time traffic, still seeing that heavy traffic on Milo Butler Highway from Fire Trail straight up to Tonic Williams-Darling Highway. If you're heading northbound, traffic is back to both directions along Tonic Williams-Darling Highway towards that roundabout. And if you're heading northbound, you're going to see slow-moving traffic extend up to Sports Center Road. Six-Legger roundabout seeing a number of issues east on John F. Kennedy Drive, southbound on New Providence Highway, and Farrington Road, southwestbound. You're going to be seeing that as well. Elsewhere, still some slow-moving traffic on West Bay Street near Saunders Beach if you're heading eastbound. And over on Blue Hill Road, heavy traffic for you from St. Vincent straight through to Carmichael, and again north of Soldier Road on the way to Independence Drive. Independence Drive, slow-moving westbound traffic right now, and that traffic is slow-moving if you continue west onto Tonic Williams-Darling Highway. In fact, east and west of Bahamas Games Boulevard, you'll be seeing traffic heading towards that roundabout. A lot of slow-moving traffic along Wolf Road heading into Poinciana Drive, mainly westbound, but also pockets eastbound. And Nassau Street looking busy for you at spots as well. Heading into downtown, you're going to be seeing that slow-moving traffic on West Bay, mainly eastbound, near Nassau Street especially. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC. With RBC, your goals happen here. Traffic also brought to you by NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers. Whether you're at home or on the go, getting a motor quote is easy. Give them a call or visit your nearest branch or log in anytime at nuainsurance.com.
Looking for insurance that fits your lifestyle and your budget? At Star General Insurance, we've got you covered. Whether it's motor insurance with flexible options for third-party liability and comprehensive coverage, or commercial insurance products that protect your business, we have choices you can afford. Own a home or renting? Our home insurance products have just what you need. And for the adventurers out there, we offer marine insurance too. Visit our website or social media pages for contact information and quotes. Star General, insurance made simple.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the Know-How team at 396-1101.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with DeAndre Cartwright. And the countdown to the Unstoppable Weekend is on November 8th through 9th from HASIS Empowerment and Resource Center. Our very own Laverne Gardner is the founder and director, and she is joining us along with Garnell Pelicanos, who is the director of operations at Bahamas Development Bank. Good to have you with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Dwight. Morning, DeAndrea. Good morning, Bahamas.
Good morning, Laverne.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. DeAndrea, good morning.
Morning.
Arnell, good morning. It's good to be here.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so remind everybody about the deadlines that are coming up and what HASIS is all about at Unstoppable Weekend.
Okay, so HASIS Empowerment and Resource Center for Women is just that. Our focus is to help empower women through one-on-one coaching, motivational speaking, counseling, and of course, events such as the Unstoppable Weekend, which is happening November 8th and 9th. This year, we've made it an entire weekend.
Wow.
And we're just very excited. Registration is about to close on Friday. So if you've been thinking about it, praying about it, wondering if you should be a part of it, the answer is yes. And make sure that you register and get your payments in on time.
Okay, wonderful. And again, it's only for women. Is that right?
It is absolutely only for women.
Mm-hmm. Why is it only for women?
Because that is our focus at HASIS Empowerment and Resource Center for Women.
Okay, so there you go.
I keep hearing you asking that question.
Because that all the men want to know, what about us? What about us?
Again, as I always say, Dwight, any man is free to begin their hey bro empowerment for men. I will happily support that. I have no issue with that. But my focus is women.
Okay. All right. So, Garnell, tell us your role in all of this. This won't be your first time taking part, right?
This will not be my first time. I attended last year, and it was so motivating, so, awakened everyone's passion. And so I thought, what a good way for Bahamas Development Bank to partner with Laverne, because when Laverne with a motivated persons and awaken their passion, those who want to go in business or who want to expand their businesses, they're going to need funding.
So BDB is sponsoring.
We are sponsoring, and we'll be there. We will have a vendor booth there. We'll have all of the information, whatever you need in order order to get funding, we got money now, Dwight. So in order to get that funding, so you could take it from actionable points, to take it from just a thought, just a passion, to how do I start my business? Where do I get this funding from?
Yeah. So last time we talked to Laverne about this, we had a guest on who said that she was inspired to do her business. So are there special things that women need to keep in mind when they are starting a business or trying to get something off the ground?
Well, I think the first thing and the most important thing is a business plan, right? So you have to take that idea out of your head and put that down on paper. And then you will know if that's something that's feasible or not. Because we all have really good ideas, but are they bankable? Are they sustainable? That's what we need to figure out. When you put that down, when you do your projections, then you will say, hey, maybe I need to tweak this, maybe another idea, or this is it. This is the one that's going to happen. So the first thing is to take that vision, make it plain, put it down on the paper, right? Memorialize it. That's the first exact thing.
Yeah.
And then secondly, am I going to need any partnership? Do I have all of the skills that are needed to do this, or do I need to collaborate with persons? Those are the types of thoughts and actionable steps, and Bahamas Development Bank is here to support that.
Yeah. Just curious, are there certain things that you all are not interested in or that things that you're looking for, more interested in sponsoring and providing funding for?
So we do have some targeted sectors, right? So tourism is the major industry, and there's a lot of room in the tourism industry for ownership by Bahamians. So short-term rental programs we're running now, as well as tourism tours and transportation. We also have a program that we're running for medical professionals who want to expand their facility or buy instruments, machinery and equipment, etc.
Excellent.
So there are some limitations as well. We don't do retail, because Bahamas Development Bank is developmental in nature. So we want to expand the economy. So we don't do retail, we don't do resale, we don't do, if you're bringing in a product and you're not enhancing it, not customizing it, that's not something that we do. And we are also at this time very interested in construction.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. So, Laverne, remind folks about what we can expect during these 2 days, or what women can expect during these 2 days.
Yes, women. Dwight, I feel like you want to attend.
I think that's what it sounds like. We should invite her. We should invite her.
I'm getting that he wants to be.
No, Laverne, you're picking it up, I believe. So, listen, he could be a special guest.
Yes. Special guest Dwight Strachan. So, Unstoppable Weekend, that Saturday, we have a specially curated lunch. Only 50 women, and we have excellent speakers who are going to be talking about having that mindset of gratefulness, leveraging AI to create more time, because we all need more time. How can we use AI to create more time? And so that we're not afraid, we're not demonizing it, but we are using it to our advantage. We're going to also be talking about how we can show up authentically in our personal and professional lives through our branding. And then we're going to be talking about walking in purpose. And so we have great dynamic speakers. We have Anjanette Sink, Lakeisha Johnson, we have Natasha Tatum, and we have veteran journalist and youth leader Sabrina Brown, all on tap for Saturday. That is the lunch where we have an opportunity to connect, because we will also have vendors there, and just connect and to enjoy that experience and to be poured into and to share. And then Sunday, which is the main event, Sunday is all about the workshop. It's all about our mindset, because we find a lot of times the reasons, and I want to tie in with Bahamas Development Bank, the reason that we have not put those ideas on paper, the reason that we have not pursued funding or even checked into the possibility of funding for this business venture, for this dream, for this goal that we have in mind, it's not because of the outside. It's because of what is going on inside of us, what's going on internally. What are we telling ourselves? We're telling ourselves that we're not good enough, we're not accomplished enough, it's not going to work. Dwight, I often post motivations, and one of the things that I posted was addressing the haters. And the twist was it that the hater, our biggest hater sometimes is our reflection in the mirror. The things that we are telling ourselves that we've begun to believe over time, whether it's through bad experience, trauma, or whatever, these things no longer serve us, but we're still holding on to them. And it is those things that are holding us back. It's not the lack of support. It's not that we don't have 10 people to believe in us or whatever. It's not even money, because sometimes money is the lowest hanging fruit. It's us, and we have told ourselves that we are not deserving of these things. And so we want to really get into tackling that mindset, addressing those things, but not only addressing those things that may be holding us back, but also engaging in tools to override what we have learned over the years. So begin to create new habits to recognize when those triggers and limiting beliefs are coming and how to counteract them. And so that we move and walk into our purpose confidently, so that we are not afraid to approach Bahamas Development Bank and say, this is my idea, this is my plan, or where do I get started?
Wow.
Or
Okay.
we're not afraid to pursue those goals that we have been talking about, that all of our friends know about, everybody knows about, but we have done nothing about. And so that is the focus for Sunday. That is the main event. And Bahamas Development Bank being there is, yes, they're a sponsor, but it's also a testament that I believe in let's do the work. We can talk ad nauseum, but let's do the work. If you say this is what you want to do and we're confronting these issues, here's an avenue for you to pursue.
Okay, so this is going to be in Grand Bahama, right?
It is absolutely going to be in Grand Bahama, yes.
Now, we are broadcasting from Nassau.
Yes, we are.
So how does this work? If you are here
Okay,
and
so
you
how
can't
does this
travel,
work?
what
If
yeah.
you cannot travel and you are interested in being a part of our workshop, the workshop will be available virtually. It's at a fraction of the cost that it would be in person, but you are able to participate in the workshop. And people who participated virtually last year can tell you that it was just like you were in the room, except you weren't. You're seeing everything that's going on in the room. When we break, you break. When we do an activity, you do an activity, because we have someone who is there, which we call like a table lead, who will be there guiding you through the exercises and the prompts as you are watching and allowed to participate in whatever's going on in the room.
Excellent, excellent. I've one this text here for you, Garnell Pelicano. Someone's asking if you have any opportunities for women in sports management, the sports management industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
just
we,
present
services. We service sector is very high on our list as well. Yeah, so absolutely. And personally, I have. My sons are very much involved in sports management, sports psych, so I will absolutely support that.
Shoot your shot, right? Whatever it is. As long as you have that business plan, make a pitch to Bahamas Development Bank.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so Laverne, so how do you register? You said Friday's the deadline. What do you have to do?
So how do you register? Go to HeySisEmpowerment.com. That is HEYSIS Empowerment, EMPOWERMENT.com. Once you log on to HeySisEmpowerment.com, you are able to register. You'll receive an email that says you're registered, and then it will always give you the next steps as to how you can make your payment. And so we're excited and we're encouraging you. Don't allow you not being in Grand Bahama to not become a part of this. If anything that we have said has resonated with you, if you know that you struggle with the things that you're telling yourself, you struggle with those limiting thoughts, then this is where you need to be. Unstoppable Weekend, you need to be a part of it. As I said, we do have a virtual opportunity for you. So there's no reason, if you're listening in Nassau or wherever you're tuning in from, there's no reason that you cannot participate in this weekend. And we're super excited. Last year I created a workbook. This year I've created another workbook so that when you leave, you have a living document that you went through as a reminder, because sometimes you get down and you need another reminder, as a reminder of how far you've come, you're coming, you are becoming, and what you are going after in your life, and that's professionally or personally. So we're super excited to have Bahamas Development Bank to be a part of this, to see the need and the value in supporting women. And so there's an opportunity for everyone, whether you are seeking funding opportunities or you just want to be in the room. It's not just business focused.
Yeah.
It is a holistic approach.
Wonderful. This person, as we get ready to wrap up, this person says here, what do you tell men to encourage their wives or girlfriends to participate? Well, one thing, you could pay for them to go. How about that?
Absolutely. That is
No
the
excuse
best
after that.
encouragement. And you can say, because I believe in you and believe in your goals and your dreams, I am gifting you this.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so before we wrap up, Dwight, I just want to say thank you to all of our sponsors, Bahamas Development Bank and Gardel Pelicanos, for being here this morning. There's also Fidelity Bank, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Express Food Mart, Imagine Graphics and Printing, and as always, for the second year, Guardian Radio. So thank you to all of our sponsors for believing in not me, but the mission of Hey Sis. And so we are excited. Again, November 8th and 9th, Unstoppable Weekend. Register at heysisempowerment.com. If you have more questions, you want more information, please reach out at 826-6278. Registration closes this Friday, so don't hesitate. Get your girlfriends, make it a weekend trip to Grand Bahama. We would love to have you here. We've even worked out hotel discounts for you, but if you can't make it, you can also do it virtually. The Sunday part, the lunch, no, but definitely you'll be able to participate.
All right. Wonderful stuff. Laverne Gardner, very proud of you. Keep up the great work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Hey Sis Empowerment and Resource Center. Again, it's Unstoppable Weekend, November 8th and 9th. Garnell Pelicanos, thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Keep up the
Very
great
proud
work.
of you as well, Laverne. Very proud of my girl.
And thank you.
Thank you
To the Bahamas Development Bank. Thank you again.
So
Appreciate it.
Before I leave, Diakra, I'm going to talk to Dwight when he's off the radio and see that how he can work out for you and your girlfriends to come over for Unstoppable Weekend.
I love that. I love that.
Okay. That sounds like
Tings.
a very powerful conversation. All right. And Laverne, we'll see you very soon here on Morning Blend. All right.
Yes.
We're going to take a break for
bye-bye.
news, folks, and be back with a whole lot more here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
News Network update on the hour. FML owner Craig Flowers says he is not a part of that group of gaming operators who is asking government for an additional 25-year moratorium on new web shop gaming licenses. He told the Nassau Guardian he has no objection to anyone who qualifies joining their industry.
I don't think that there should be any business that should be exclusive for any one Bahamian or two Bahamian or three Bahamians. I do think that once you qualify, the government will be the deciding factor to determine that.
Government initially granted those operators a 10-year moratorium when their industry was first regulated. It's unclear why those owners feel they still need to hold their monopoly on that lucrative industry for another 25 years. Well, National Security Minister Wayne Monroe says there's not much this government can do to stop the United States from blowing up alleged drug smuggling go-fast boats in our area if they should seek to elevate their drug interdiction efforts off the Bahamas. That after CARICOM nations predominantly condemned the militarization of the Southern Caribbean, which it designated a zone of peace, after the U.S. began blowing up alleged drug boats off Venezuela.
If they determine to, for instance, deploy in international waters between the Bahamas and the U.S., what can we do to restrict them in defending what they say is their national interest? Absolutely nothing. I don't see us sending the defense force out to contest them, so we are unable to restrict them in the steps they see necessary to defend their national interests.
Monroe has advised Bahamians to stay off of drug boats leaving Venezuela if they don't want to be blown up. And a man believed to be in his 20s was found shot to death in a car along Robinson Road and 3rd Street yesterday. Police say that car had crashed into another car in the parking lot of a business. They believe the victim was shot elsewhere, but they have few other details about the incident. They're hoping CCTV and the public can help them fill in the gaps. That's what's making headlines at this hour. AP Update is next.
From around the world, these are the AP International News headlines. Beijing for the first time has announced that it will require foreign firms to obtain approval from the Chinese government to export magnets containing even tiny amounts of China-originated rare earth materials. However, China is simply borrowing a decades-long US policy, the Foreign Direct Product Rule, which has been used regularly to restrict China's access to certain US technologies made outside of the United States. Gaza's fragile ceasefire faced its first major test on Sunday as Israeli forces launched a wave of deadly strikes, killing at least 36 Palestinians across Gaza, including many children. The Israeli military claimed that Hamas had violated the terms of the truce, which the group has denied. Israel later claimed it had resumed enforcing the ceasefire. Rodrigo Paz, a centrist senator who was never a nationally prominent figure until now, has won Bolivia's presidential election. I'm Karen Chamas.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Monday, October 20th, 2025. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Deandra Cartwright. And this is part of our twice monthly partnership with the Department of Public Health on issues affecting all of us. And we've got a bit of a theme going. If you remember last month during Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, we talked about women's roles in getting men more aware of prostate cancer and checking on their health. So as it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, today we are talking about men's roles in getting their women more aware of breast cancer and their health. And we're very pleased to have with us lead nurse with Men's Health with the Ministry of Health, Chesman Finley. Good morning. Great to have you with us.
Good morning, and it's good to be here.
All right, so this is a really interesting perspective that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. I'm sure a lot of men are going to say, well, my goodness, the women have this covered because everywhere you turn, there's something to do with breast cancer awareness. So for men might be feeling like there is no place for them in this discussion. What do you say to that?
So let's set the stage for breast cancer. So we know that breast cancer is the second most commonly diagnosed cancer in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Behind prostate cancer, right? So breast cancer is very common. We have reports that say somewhere between 300 to 500 women are diagnosed each year. We know that 1 in 8 Bahamian women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. We know that the average age of breast cancer diagnosis in the United States is 62. However, the average age of breast cancer diagnosis in the Bahamas is 42.
My goodness.
So for quick maths, that's a difference of 20 years. So our Bahamian women are being diagnosed 20 years earlier than our American counterparts. And we also know from the research that our Bahamian women, when they're diagnosed, nearly half of them are diagnosed at stage 3 or stage 4, which means that the breast cancer in stage 3, it means that the breast cancer has begun to invade nearby lymph nodes. It's begun to spread to the muscles and invade the chest wall. Now, the bright side to stage 3 means that the cancer is not spread to surrounding organs like the liver or the lungs or perhaps the brain. And the American Cancer Society has shown through research that there's a 5-year survival rate of 87%. So thanks to the advancement in the treatment and the research and the science, our women can live longer because the treatment has made a tremendous impact. So now when we talk about how can men support their spouses, what can we do as men, as husbands, as fathers, in supporting our loved ones in terms of their breast cancer journey, we need to talk about how can we support them before a diagnosis is even made. So how can we put them in the best position possible to reduce their risk of developing breast cancer? You know, I did a talk to St. Augustine's College last week to the 11th and 12th grade students. And one of the things I told them is that the decisions you make today will lay the foundation for your health tomorrow. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about alcohol. We have a report that says alcohol is a toxic, psychoactive, dependence-producing substance. It is classified in the same category as asbestos and radiation. Let that sink in.
Is that all alcohol across the board?
That's
anything?
alcohol just straight across the board.
My goodness.
The World Health Organization said that no amount of alcohol or no level of alcohol is safe for human consumption.
What now? Not even one small glass?
That report was from 2023. And then that was reaffirmed in 2024 and 2025.
So we're not even talking about the moderation thing anymore?
I'm not talking moderation at all.
Oh, my goodness.
Because what we find is that the research says that alcohol increases a woman's risk for at least 7 different types of cancer. And breast cancer is one of them. So how do we as men support our loved ones? By getting them to reduce their consumption of alcohol as much as possible and work towards eliminating alcohol.
And that would count for men as well.
That
right?
will count for men as well.
Yeah.
And when we look at our school health global survey that we did this year, it found that a portion of our school-age students, I think between the ages of 13 and 18, that some of them are consistent alcohol drinkers. So we have a problem with alcohol. And it's affecting our health. So the more we drink today, it lays a bad foundation for our health tomorrow, especially when we consider other things like cardiovascular disease. Another thing as men that we need to consider is smoking, right? Men, we should not smoke, and we should encourage women not to smoke. Now, I know traditionally women they don't smoke as much as men. But that first-hand smoking is not what I want to hit on. What I want to hit on is the second-hand smoking.
Wow.
Because as men, we like to take our girlfriends and wives out on Friday night and on the weekends. And we'll take them into a club, a bar, where they're going to have a cocktail, and they may not be smoking. But there may be other people in the room that is smoking.
Okay.
And research says that from that secondhand smoke, there's about 7,000 chemicals. 7,000. And 70 of them are known to increase a woman's risk for developing cancer. My goodness. And this risk can be increased anywhere between 10 and 30%, depending on the research study you're looking at.
Now, Jasmine Finley, what are we talking about? What does it matter what you're smoking, or is it again across the board?
So I'm specifically talking about cigarettes in this case, right? But when we talk about smoking in general, just bear in mind that smoke can get, if you're smoking directly, that smoke can get to your brain in 6 to 8 seconds.
Wow.
My gosh.
So let that sink in. So what kind of foundation do you want to lay for your health in the future?
Does this count towards, cigars and vaping as well?
Yes. Yeah. So if you're building a house, I am sure you wouldn't want to use some porous blocks. I am sure you wouldn't want to use some blocks that I made using my daughter's Play-Doh. So this comes back, and it comes back, unfortunately, in a very painful way. The third thing I want to speak to is obesity. In 2019, we did a step survey at the Ministry of Health, and it found that over 70% of our population is overweight. And women are more overweight. There are more overweight women than men. So what does that have to do with breast cancer? The research shows that if you're overweight, it increases your risk for developing breast cancer. So men now, we need to encourage our women to exercise, to eat healthy, to diet. Research also shows, because exercise is a funny thing, we all need to exercise, but not all of us are exercising.
Right.
So there was a research from Iowa State University, I believe, and it said that persons who participated in group exercise are more likely to continue exercising when compared to people who exercise by themselves.
Yeah.
So when you exercise in a group, you're able to talk, you're able to dialogue, crack jokes, talk about your favorite sports team. If you're exercising with your spouse or significant other, you're building your relationship. So it doesn't necessarily feel like work, so it's a fun family activity. So that's really important. So men, we would encourage you to exercise with your significant other. In our male health clinic, one of the things we find is that if a wife is diagnosed, for instance, with, let's say, diabetes, we're going to talk about some dietary modifications, right? Sometimes what we find is that the wife will have to cook 2 pots.
Right.
Because the husband is going to say, I don't want that diet stuff with the doctors, them tell you have to eat. And when the spouse gets into a position where they're going to have to cook 2 pots, it becomes tiresome. And they end up falling off the health and wellness journey.
Right.
So I want to encourage our men to be supportive in that regard. We're all working towards not just surviving, but thriving. This is what the Ministry of Health and Wellness is focusing on. We want you to thrive. We don't want you to just live long, because a lot of people are living long, but they're not healthy. They're from hospital to clinic, hospital to clinic. We want you to live long and thrive.
Yeah.
We want you to be 87 and 97 and still going on a cruise, still taking vacations, still doing all of these things. All right?
Yeah. So we know that when we have the discussion about prostate cancer, and women have to do a lot of the cajoling to get the men to go and get tested, to go and do the things they need to do, to see a doctor even. That's not necessarily going to be the case with women, right? Or what are you seeing here?
So that's a good question, because earlier I said that the majority of women, or a large portion of the women, some 44% who are diagnosed at stage 3 or stage 4. Some reports even suggest that number can be up to 70%, which means that there are some women who are not going to the doctor. Wow. They're not having their annual physicals done. So as men now, how do we help in that area? We remind and encourage our women that the government clinics are available. They can refer you for your mammograms. The physicians and the nurses can teach you how to do self-breast examinations at home. Also, there's the National Health Insurance, where you can sign up for free and get your age-appropriate preventative cancer screenings done. And a lot of us have employee-sponsored insurance that we're not using.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So as men, we have to encourage now. So we have to ask the questions. Hey, hon, did you see the doctor this week? When was your last checkup? When did they say you need to do your mammogram? Did you follow up on the results? Hey, you said perhaps the left breast looks a little smaller than the right breast. Perhaps you think that the nipple is retracting a bit. These are things that we need to begin to ask and to push forward.
Mm-hmm.
We see a lot of health webinars on social media. Sign in. Encourage them to sign in. Make it a family activity where we all sit down and we watch this health webinar. We just had a webinar, I think, about 2 weeks ago on mental health in rural communities, mental health in the family island. What does that look like? What does access to support and treatment look like? So when we're able to have these conversations and we have more exposure to this information, it puts us in a better position to help our spouses and our loved ones.
Hopefully she won't call you out on the fact that you haven't gone to see a doctor in 4 years. But yeah.
I mean, that needs to happen too.
Well, everybody needs to call everybody else out, right? Okay, so we've got some interesting questions on our text line for you, and calls are coming in. Let's go to the calls first. And you can call in as well if you have questions for Chesmond Finley. We're talking about men's roles in getting women to get their examinations and to be more aware about breast cancer dangers in the country. 323-6232. 325-4316, 325-425. Now you can call us toll free if you're in the Family Islands, 242-300-5720. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air.
Hey, gracious usual, Dwight. Guess how you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Great, man. Hey, tell your guest, right? Boy, I ask them how come healthy food tastes like crap, right? And all the horrible food which ain't good for you tastes so good. Like that fried chicken. Oh, we love that fried chicken. If we could fry in the Bahamas, if we could taste the salt, if we can't taste the salt, we ain't eating it. So that's the problem right there. We are culturally bad at eating foods. We love highly seasoned foods, and I think that's the problem right there. It'll take a cultural change actually to get this health situation down.
Okay, you love this we. I keep telling you that. I don't know if that's across the board, but yes, we know there's a great appeal to some for those types of things that are not necessarily the best for you.
So again, it goes back to one of the statements I made earlier. The decisions you make today will lay the foundation for your health tomorrow. Research shows that the more colorful fruits and vegetables you eat, you decrease your risk for developing not just breast cancer, but cancers across the board. However, if you do not eat colorful fruits and vegetables, the research says you increase your risk for developing cancers. We know from a cultural standpoint that our diet isn't the best. Our native dishes aren't the best. They taste well. We love them, but we have to learn moderation. We have to practice moderation. So Sunday dinner can be peas and rice, potato salad, coleslaw, steamed chicken, steamed pork chop, and then I guess a piece of tomato to say, well, I had something healthy. We really have to look at what it is we're putting into our bodies because we are in a pandemic of non-communicable diseases, and non-communicable diseases include cancers.
Wow. And start early, right? If
Yeah.
you have the kids used to this from when they're very young, it's
Yeah.
going to be easier to get them to keep that.
Yeah, so
going.
if we train our kids early to eat fruits and vegetables, to eat healthy, to show them what a balanced plate or a balanced diet looks like, they are likely to carry that into adulthood.
Absolutely. All right, so you mentioned all those things, alcohol, smoking, obesity, but this texture says, well, my mom never drank, smoked an occasional cigarette in her 20s, and was a size 8, but she was diagnosed with breast cancer at age 79. Imagine our surprise. So there are some other factors in terms, including genetics, right?
Yeah, including genetics. So we know we have high rates of the BRCA gene mutation.
Yeah.
The BRCA gene in itself is a good thing because it's a tumor suppressing gene. However, when the gene mutates, then that becomes a problem. So that's a challenge there. So that's why this conversation is so important because you can't do anything about your genetics. You can't do anything about your gender. You can't do anything about your age. But the modifiable risk factors are the things that you can control. And if you can reduce these risks as much as possible, you put yourself in a better position. If you're diagnosed with breast cancer, you're doing all of these things, and you go to the doctor annually, you're getting your mammograms, and they discover a tumor. You're stage 1. At 5 years, your survival rate is greater than 99%. They are actually able to cure breast cancer if caught early.
Wow.
So that's why these routine screenings are important.
And that gene's going to be in men as well, right?
Yeah, that's going to be in men as well.
And if it is in your family, you have a higher rate of, is that right? Of cancer.
Yeah, and this is why,
Potentially.
too, as a country, we need to speak about health more, about diseases that runs in family more. In our male health clinic, sometimes when I speak to patients, and I'll ask, do you have a family history of cancer? I don't know. They said, granddaddy died from man sickness. In all my years in nursing school and reading medical textbooks, I've never seen anything said called man sickness. So I don't know what that is.
What do you think they meant?
I have no idea.
Oh, dear.
I have no idea.
We
So
don't talk about these things. This is the thing. A lot of families tend to downplay what's going on out of fear or not wanting to spread the news. Especially with our Family Island folks, they just play it off like it doesn't exist, or they don't properly identify it. And in some cases, and I know this from personal experience, they refuse to identify and share what relatives would have passed away from,
Exactly.
including different types of cancers.
Yeah. And that puts the family members now in a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Because if a first, second degree family member has cancer, then the screening now for you needs to start a bit earlier.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, good morning.
Hey, morning, Dwight. Just one more thing I want your guests to educate the public on, right? Because I do lots of online shopping, I notice this, and plus I'm very observant. By California law, it dictates that every item that you purchase have to have a warning label on it that causes cancer or birth defect items. Your mouse pad, for instance, right, if you read in the back, right, it will have on it, may cause cancer or birth defects. Even your furniture, even a simple chair that you sit on, if you read the back of it, right, your car parts, they'll have on it a label saying that if you touch it, even if you touch it, it may cause birth defects or cause cancer. Air fresheners that you put in the air, you might be thinking that you freshen the air, that also causes cancer. It's a crazy world we live in today.
Right.
A lot of things, anything that companies should be actually held accountable for these things that's going on.
Okay, so the environmental, thank you, caller, environmental concerns as well.
Yeah, so he's speaking to Prop 65 that basically says businesses have to provide these warnings. And you will see it on articles of clothing, you'll see it on jewelry, basically anything that can increase a person's risk for cancer, you will see it.
Right.
We did something similar, not in law, when we talk about certain foods, and I want to be careful with this. When we talk about certain foods that are culturally significant to us that can increase a person's risk for cancers, corned beef, that turned into like a little stew for us. So we know that some of these foods, they're not good for us.
Yeah, these are what? The processed, heavily processed foods?
Yeah, and they contain nitrates and nitrites, and these things can increase a person's risk for developing cancer.
Yeah.
So now we've talked about the things that, we've talked about how men can put their spouses and significant other in the best possible position to reduce their risk. So now let's pivot to when that diagnosis is made. What can you do as men? And one of the first things I want to say is to be present. Imagine you're sitting in a doctor's office. You perhaps just went in for a routine checkup. And the physician comes back and he tells your wife or your girlfriend that they have breast cancer. That's going to be painful. That's going to be scary. That's going to be gut-wrenching. That is going to hurt. Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of information that she has to digest and process very quickly.
Yeah.
What stage is the breast cancer? What are my treatment options? Can I afford this? Quite frankly, will I live? So we can understand how this diagnosis is overwhelming. And this is why our physicians don't give this diagnosis to a woman by themselves. They prefer someone to be with them for that emotional support, because this is some bad news in a sense, right? So one of the ways that men can show that I am here for you, that I love you, I ride in with you, is to be present.
Yeah.
You may not have all of the answers. You may not know what to say in that moment. You're scared yourself. You're afraid yourself. But one of the best things you can do is to be present. And one of the interesting things is research shows that women who have breast cancer and have a supportive partner or a strong support system, they tend to have better health outcomes when compared to women who don't.
Yeah.
So one of the first things, men, is just to be present. You're not going to have all of the answers. You're not going to understand everything. But your presence alone can be a comfort, because this is going to be a difficult situation. I remember because my aunt died last year, December, from breast cancer.
Oh, boy.
And I remember just being on the WhatsApp group video call was sufficient, because there were times I didn't know what to say. But just her being able to look at her phone and see Dwight and see this one and see the next one was enough to encourage her to say, hey, I have people who love me. I have people who are rooting for me. I have people who want to see me beat this. So I just want to encourage all men to be present.
Yeah.
When you think about all of the appointments, all of the PET scans and MRIs and everything else that comes in between, you also have to be an organizer. Because you got to organize this schedule to ensure that none of these things are missed. So I know men sometimes we're typically not organized. If you see my work desk, Lord help me, it's not organized. But when it comes to this, you need to be an organizer to ensure that no appointment is missed. Where do I get the prescription from? Which pharmacy has which medication, because one pharmacy don't carry it. How much it costs. Where is her next appointment, because PMH don't do all of the testing that goes along with a breast cancer diagnosis. Where do I keep the millions and millions of paper that comes along with a breast cancer diagnosis? And if you're able to do these things, this is one less thing now that she has to worry about, and she can focus now on her health, her recovery.
Wow.
So being organized is also very, very important, because imagine you do a scan at a private facility, and if you're in the public system, your doctor is going to want that. So you're going to need to be able to have these things to show, to ensure that there's continuity of care and that we're moving forward in this treatment plan.
Definitely going to have to step up in this. All right, let's take these calls really quickly before we run out of time. But we're talking with Chesman Finley, lead nurse with Men's Health at the Ministry of Health. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Dwight, good morning again.
Hi.
Good morning to your guest in studio. Very important stuff here that, and I'm proud to hear what he is discussing this morning. It in a sense, it doesn't only, as he so carefully it's explained, it just isn't just a female occurrence, but it's also a male. So we as males, we also have to acknowledge that we too are at risk. He touched on something that the reason why I'm calling, and that is, the foods that we to the best of my knowledge, we don't have an agency that actually tests for the quality of foods that we import in this country. He talked about the nitrates and all that stuff. We have to look at the growth hormones, and we got to look at the other stuff that has been injected into a lot of our food products. that we consume on a daily basis, but yet there's no call to action on creating an agency that would actually do the test on the foods we import, because it also could be contributing to the high rate of cancer that we have in this country. And I'm calling for this for quite some time, but yet we continue to import all these products, and we don't have agencies that actually test the quality and test what is in these foods that we consume. So that is something I believe that is even more important today than ever. And I don't know if he knows of any agency that actually does these tests locally, but it would be something good for us to know, you know. So thanks for taking my call. I continue to listen and continue the great work.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's challenging for a country this size, but it would be great. It would be great.
Yeah, so the Bahamas Agricultural Health and Food Safety Authority, they look at the safety of food and agricultural goods here in the Bahamas. Another thing that's really important is educating yourself. So when this cancer diagnosis is given, it's going to be really difficult for the physician and the healthcare team to explain everything about breast cancer to that patient in one setting. So if you're able to go on Johns Hopkins, go on Harvard University, Mayo Clinic, the American Cancer Society, there's a wealth of free information out there that you can use to educate yourself so you can understand now, this is what my wife has. This is what the treatment is going to look like. This is what I can expect next. For instance, think of this in a practical sense. My wife was the life of the party. She was always super energetic. Now she's always tired and fatigued. I wonder what caused that. When we began to read, we would begin to understand that fatigue can be a side effect of the cancer itself or the cancer treatment. Does she need a mastectomy? Is it likely? How is she going to feel? Because research shows that when women have mastectomies, they feel as if they bury their former selves. So we have to make them feel loved and appreciated, show them that they're still beautiful, show them that we still desire them, even though their libido may be affected.
Wow. All right. This texter says here, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. I had mammograms every year. Please be mindful that dense breasts make it harder to detect tumors.
Yeah.
Wow. Like you said, you need to get the information. Get the information. Let's take another call. Quickly, caller, good morning. You're on the air. Turn on your radio for us, please. Good morning.
Pleasant good morning.
Hi.
Some of the things that we need to remember: bleaching creams, balls here, and sugar. They do nothing but cause cancer. And we have to look at this because it is so important that we must continue to be abreast of what is transpiring in our country. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Wow. All right. A caller mentioned it. I know we're talking about men supporting women with breast cancer, but men can have breast cancer as well.
Yeah.
What would you say to men about that? Anything they need to keep in mind about their own health?
Right. So about 1 to 2% of all breast cancer cases globally are men. So the same breast examination that women would do is the same breast exam that we need to do. I know in our teenage years, around somewhere between 14 and 16, you'll find a lot of male teenagers saying they have a lump in the breast. And that's part of the puberty process, the growth process. But after that, we stop checking. We stop feeling. And generally, we know that men don't go to the doctor like we should. So if, and we should be taking a shower every day, we can just feel. And if we feel something we're not sure about, then we can go to our healthcare provider and just ask questions, and they can do an examination and go from there. Because you may feel something and it may be a cyst and not necessarily a tumor. You can have dense or fibrous breasts. So these are some of the things we also need to consider. And this is why going to the doctor is so important.
Yeah.
It is critically important. We can't overlook it. And I think the government of the Bahamas has done sufficiently to reduce some of the barriers to healthcare by giving us access to the national health insurance, where you can pick a private provider. If you don't like Nurse Finley's attitude at the public clinic, you could sign up for that private institution that's on Shirley Street that has a hospital, or the next institution. So we have eliminated as much as possible a lot of the barriers. But unfortunately, some people still aren't taking advantage of it. Yeah. And another thing I would like to say is that, men, we have to be our spouse's advocate. We have to be the advocate for our wives. No doubt Bahamian women are resilient and strong. But when you're talking about breast cancer has a way of removing sometimes that ability to fight. And when they're dealing with breast cancer, they don't need to be fighting hospital bureaucracies. They don't need to be fighting Nurse Chesman's poor attitude. They don't need to be fighting this place or that place. And this is where you step up to be that advocate, and you address those things in a respectful manner. Because at the end of the day, this is your loved one. This is their life. And we want them to be here for much more graduations, for more anniversaries, for more birthdays. We don't want to bury someone prematurely. Right. So we want to be their advocate and stand up for them.
Yeah. Finally, where can people get more information? Like what you're talking about, I know you mentioned some of the sites, but maybe locally, are there resources?
Yeah, so locally, the Bahamas Cancer Society, we have the Sister to Sister Breast Cancer Support Group, and support groups are critically important. You don't have to go through this breast cancer journey by yourself. There are other persons who survived and went through this journey who are willing to help and support you. And then you have Johns Hopkins, you have Harvard University, you have a host of places where you can get this free information and free help.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Great information. Someone sending a shout out to you saying you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Chesman Finley, lead nurse with Men's Health at the Ministry of Health. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you both so much.
All right, we're going to take a break and be back with our final few minutes of Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already in CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at CFAL.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Wake up, Bahamas! The Morning Blend team is hitting the road. Join us Thursday, October 23rd, live from Bahamar, the Caribbean's leading integrated resort destination, as we bring you front row access to Return of Fuse Caribbean Art Fair, now bigger and brighter than ever. It's all part of the Bahamas Culinary and Arts Festival, happening October 22nd through 26th, featuring world-class chefs, exclusive tastings, masterclasses, and a headline performance by four-time Grammy Award winner and Bahamian rock legend Lenny Kravitz. With over 120 artists and galleries from 21 countries, Fuse promises an immersive celebration of creativity, culture, and Caribbean brilliance. So don't miss Morning Blend, live from Bahamar, Thursday, October 23rd, as we capture the sights, sounds, and stories of Fuse Caribbean Art Fair.
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, Air, the Athlete's Foot, and BTC, Games and More, John Bull Fine Threads, Alive Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's Clocks and Island Lock, Starbucks and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
Don't wait for a storm to arrive. Stock up on hurricane supplies, make home repairs, purchase a generator, and more this hurricane season with a Fidelity personal loan. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
You try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
It is time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. The Free National Movement is calling on the PLP to account for shifts in airport funding announced by Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism Chester Cooper during the Exuma Business Outlook last week. Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama, Kwesi Thompson, saying in a statement released yesterday that the shuffling of money provided by the Saudi Fund for Development from the redevelopment of the Exuma Airport and North Eleuthera Airport to fund redevelopment and exposes, quote, a pattern of mismanagement and mistrust from the government. That money reallocated to fund the Grand Bahama International Airport. During the Exuma Outlook last week, Cooper said the funding for the redevelopment of Exuma's Georgetown International Airport and the North Eleuthera International Airport were now fully funded. Otherwise, Thompson was basing Cooper for not disclosing what he meant when he said the two airports that SFD was funding is being shifted, that the funding was being shifted from were funded otherwise. You can read more on the concerns in today's business section. International Maritime Organization members voted to adjourn the extraordinary session of the Maritime Environment Protection Committee on Friday without fully adopting the net zero framework that was agreed upon in April. The IMO, United Nations agency responsible for the safety, security, and environmental performance of international shipping, said an extraordinary session will be convened in 1 year to look at the NZF again. The Bahamans had planned to abstain from a vote for the adoption of the NZF last week, expressing concern about how effective the NZF would actually be in curbing greenhouse gas emissions through maritime company compliance within the framework. And CLX Logistics Bahamas and DHL Express Bahamas creating a partnership designed to provide last-minute service for cargo to family islands through an e-commerce platform called DomesticFreight.com. DomesticFreight.com is CLX's digital platform for quoting, booking, paying, and tracking inter-island cargo, bringing efficiency and certainty to the movement of goods to the islands. Details on that in today's Guardian Business section. Overseas, In your market watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Friday. In market movers, Cable Bahamas moving 1,000 shares, closing at $4 and changed. Consolidated Water up 5 cents, closing at $7.25. Emira Incorporated up 5 cents, closing at $12.02. The BISX All Share Index closing at 3,040.42, up 0.11. Recapping the week, the local market ended with 2,037 shares crossing the exchange, with 7 trades accumulating a value of $14,004. The BISX All Share Index gained 0.55 points, or 0.018%, ending the week at 3,040.42. Year to date, the index is up 32.20 points, or 1.07%. The week's volume leader, Cable Bahamas, moving 1,000 shares in one trade, with a value of $4,000. The week's value leader was J.S. Johnson, moving 500 shares with 4 trades for a value of $8,382.08. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And tune in to CFAL Talks tonight at 6:30 p.m. right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. All right, so we got a few minutes left, and as promised, we wanted to tackle this and get your views on it. DeAndre Cartwright, what does this mean if there are, for now, as far as we know, 3 candidates that are all media bosses who are going to be running in the general election, or likely to be running? What would that mean for their publications, their media houses? What would that cause a slant of bias to their news coverage? Are we seeing it already? What do you make of it? You want to give your views before we open this up really quickly? Callers, you can call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. You can tweet us, you can Facebook us, you can text us 422-4796. What say you?
Well, I feel, it is something to watch, right? We've heard where Sebas is saying that he's going to take himself away from day-to-day operations for one business, but what about the other? Even though he is technically hands-off as it stands, I'm just wondering.
How do you know that?
Pardon?
Go on.
Listen, we're not sassing those up. Anyway,
so people say. But
right, but some things, it is something to watch, because you can say one thing and then something else were to happen. And then the God honest truth, no matter the business, which employee is going to write poorly of their boss? And this is the Bahamas. Where are the safeguards for employees that may have to do so?
Right.
So it's almost like an unspoken expectation potentially.
And that's the other thing. You might be able to do it, but you might think you are not able to do it. Right? And so that will cause you not to do it, which is a very interesting thing. All right, let's take these calls really quickly. We can squeeze them in before we have to go. Mr. Producer, can we get these calls in, please? Yes. Hi, caller. You are on the air.
Yes, Dwight.
Hi.
For me, it simply means that the Progressive Liberal Party, after the millions of dollars spent on sucking or dismantling the media, sees no other option left now to bring the owners on board.
Okay. All right. So interesting. Let's take another one. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning.
Hi. Turn on your radio for us, please.
Good morning.
Hi.
Let the PLP know the money man them cannot save them, because they're about to go down with the PLP. So you stay based on the time. The PLP, the money can't save them on this lap. They're going on all them hold together.
How do you know that? How are you saying this?
You can see it. You can see it. Right? You can see it. You can feel in the air. They're about to go down.
Can you really?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I hear you. I don't know about that. But many are wondering, what will it mean? What will it mean? We're going to continue to watch it, as we told you. Only one person was willing to comment on this. One of the 3 who are seeking nominations or already have nominations, only one, commented. What will we hear in the coming days?
Or the entirety of their